Realistic, no lies. Next niggas next, and I'm gifted. Both times, claiming you the best, but you slipping. Bro, hot. Sugar Ray Leonard, if you hit me like no mind. Shame on the nigga trying to run game on the nigga like
Peace of paradise to all American Aborigines. Chief Holidays in the building. Hey, I got a special broadcast, y'all. It's a special day. Y'all see it, man. Happy. I like to say happy holiday, y'all. Happy holiday, happy birthday, happy soul day, happy New Year. My favorite sister-in-law, Marianne. Peace to you. Peace to the Jergens. Hey, shout out to Ariel first in the building. We got Sister Bethy Love in the building. Be Busy, Original Night Wolf, the original Copper Empress Hovers in the building. Hey man, peace to all the great ones tuned in, y'all. Like I said, man, this is shout out to the Jergens.
This is a 1099.
Oh, yeah, man. Peace, love to everybody, man. Shout out to Carvis, shout out to Kaylin. Yeah, man. So hopefully they're gonna be coming through, y'all. Boo Feather, Melanated Empress, BK59 is in the building. She said blissfulness, wellness, relatives. Yeah, hey, peace to everybody, man. Peace to the goddess Gretchen Helm was in the building. We're gonna get into some information tonight too, y'all. It's just been on my mind. I've been wanting to break this stuff down. So Sister Bethy, the links in your email. Oh, man, whenever you want to. Yeah, man, we're gonna get into this thing, man. Um, like I said, this show is dedicated to my favorite sister-in-law. Yeah, man. So see him coming to chat with me, man. I'm showing some love. Shout out to Lil Yos Rios in the building. Wow, I called it an early one. Yeah, man. This is pretty early. Yeah, 6:45 Pacific Standard Time, y'all. We're in the building, man. We're getting it in. Like I said, man, we're gonna get into a few subjects tonight. Um, things been on my mind, man. And we're just talking about words because words matter. I remember, I think it was Empress Hover was telling us not to speak to his, hey, peace family or queen. For instance, some of the when you get to some of the etymology of the origins of these words, right? Etymology, origin of words, things of that nature, whatever, right? It's what you call it, right? Goes back to birthday, New Year, right? That's your New Year. It's just so many things, you know what I mean? Just your perception of words, of your perception of that thing, you know what I'm saying? I say holiday, you know what I'm saying? You know, shouldn't your ancestors be a holiday? Of course, right? You wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. So obviously, people who came here, who blood runs through your veins, those special days, they birthdays, they death days, certain things like that, those should be holidays. If we're talking holy days, and we talk about the whole concept of what a holy day is, you know what I'm saying? So December 25th and January the 3rd, you know what I'm saying? To me, uh, so like I said, we're just talking about this thing. Shout out to Aboriginal Power in the building. Peace to the God, man. Nonetheless is in the building. Peace to the gods, man. Um, yeah, like I said, man, I wanted to talk about. Oh, yeah. Let me get this link in here, y'all. Hold on a second. Yeah, man. Peace to y'all, man. Links in the chat room, man. Anybody want to come on and chop it up with your side, man? Like I said, I wanted to get into the three-fifth compromise tonight, y'all. Because once again, it always goes back to perception, word spells. People like to say things or whatever. We're gonna talk about Sister Renee, the upcoming debate with Sister Renee, and some people like, gee, why is it so far back or whatever? Because you know, the whole Pan Africanism is gonna be on trial, right? Um, this whole concept, right? Africana studies and African American studies, all these things are going to be on trial. But literally, I think they've already been on trial and they literally been put in the dirt. So kind of we're going to be, planting daisies. You know what I'm talking about? So that's kind of the more of the situation. But I feel like a lot of people are still stuck as that, as that's the, the the foundation of our existence here in America. You know what I'm saying? Is African American studies. Also, you guys know I'm boycotting uh, Black History Month. You know what I'm saying? We're not black, and every day is American history. You know what I'm saying? So we are Americans. We are the first Americans, and that's the whole concept that we feel that gives us social, political, economic power. You know what I'm saying? And it starts there. You know what I mean? And I know for a fact that we don't focus enough on the economic empowerment of our people. You know what I'm saying? We always say we want things to happen, but then we don't support those things, right? We literally support the things that are not benefiting people in the short term, the medium, or the long term. You know what I'm saying? And so we have 100-year history of, just say, for instance, the NFL. And the NFL right now is building and creating thousands of jobs inside America, inside your city. You know what I'm saying? So, and well, my city for sure. You know what I mean? So when we talk about the new stadium that they're building for the Raiders here or whatever, we created thousands of jobs. It's boosting this economy, which is already crazy. You know what I mean? So that whole concept, bringing a NFL franchise, especially like the Raiders, to already a city like Las Vegas. It's even more special. You know what I mean? So and that's all I'm saying. When we're talking economics, we talking, and that's, if everybody's been paying attention, the whole question's been on the table is, if we were economically sound and we wasn't at the bottom, we was at the top economically, we would be at the bottom of the social ladder. Everybody that I've spoke to, even the most blackest power motherfuckers, gonna be like, yeah, man, you're right, Chief. We wouldn't be at this problem. Okay, so then that means that's the goddamn problem, right? If that's the problem, then that's what we need to focus on a little bit more, as opposed to focusing on the spiritual stuff. Like, man, I was listening to Sadetta, and they was talking about the weigh-in. And Captain, shout out to Captain Cesar, man. He's asking some great questions to these brothers, man. But like I said, it's great questions. Like, how is this conversation going to help our people? And they tap dance around like Gregory Hines. They never really answered that question or whatever, because it doesn't. It's just a personal little things of guys who stuff is being exposed, but they literally exposing the whole Pan Africanism. So it's RIP to Pan Africanism. It's death to Pan Africanism, and that's just what it is, y'all. It is socially, politically, economically put our people in this position, and there's no economic nothing that is attached itself to this, because guess what? The Ethiopians and Nigerians and certain people that come over here are going to have more of an economic base here in America than a lot of these so-called Pan-Africans, which they do not participate in. So the whole thing is like you're having a women's group, but only men being in the group. And the title of the group is women, hey, first women group of America, right? But there's no women in the group. I think it's this is how this is. It's like, all right, this is an African group with no Africans in the goddamn group. I think that's crazy. And that's why we see that there's never anything to go. So then it always goes, he asked him a question too. Yo, this is a great question. He asked him, so what sources would you guys be bringing to the table? Would you be bringing white sources? Would you be bringing black sources? And I think that's an interesting thing, because references are not necessarily sources. Anybody can go find some references or go find somebody else's references and cite those references. Those don't necessarily make those things sources. At the end of the day, something has to have a source, right? So when I'm talking to these people, when I'm having a conversation with them, no matter if they say Dr. Ben or Dr. Clark or whoever said it, If somebody taught Dr. Ben or Dr. Clark, or if somebody else said this before Dr. Ben said it, right, in Egyptology, and we get into the Egyptologist and we find, oh, okay, well, we see that these people created this right here. This comes from here. Hey, so that's what Garfield is going to expose Jabari on, because Garfield doesn't have a dog in that fight. He'll rather win, burn that whole shit down just to win the debate. Trust me on this. He's going to burn this shit down. He's going to do the scholarship and not really actually seeing that when he burns that down, he's going to also be burning down the West African fairy tale as well, right? Because if you can burn down Kemet, which is all you had, right, it's honestly, as far as culture, that was only, yeah, they wasn't going to be able to sell um, uh, a certain culture to us in West Africa, right? Because obviously the West Africans are emulating our culture. You understand what I'm saying? So it wouldn't be like, well, why they couldn't sell that culture to us? Where's the culture? Where's the music? Where's the fashion? Where's the food? We don't have a West African culture, because this be the season time. The question I'm asking today. I hope that you are going to go eat out at a so-called African cuisine restaurant and let us know how you like the type of food, stuff like that, or whatever. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like, we don't. That's not something that we participate in, because it's not our culture. Okay, it's not our culture. You niggas that eat Italian food, you niggas that eat Mexican food, you niggas that eat Chinese food, you niggas that go eat Cantonese, you even start getting exotic Indian cuisine, all type of shit before you go eat some Nigerian cuisine. Matter of fact, you don't even, that's not even on your menu list. Yeah, you understand what I'm saying? So just this whole thing, you know, and they asked us, well, where you guys American culture and whatever? Duh, America, apple pie, French fries, you know what I'm saying? All the things that, you know, that's American. It's us, you know what I'm saying? That's our shit. Cowboys, Indians, you know what I'm saying? The Super Bowl, everything, you know what I mean? The Major League Baseball, everything is American culture. It comes from Americans. Then we invented it. Music, period, from jazz to rock and roll to folk, everything. That's our shit. So nah, we're not about to give up anything. This is American culture, y'all. So that's all I'm saying. So it's no hate. It's just telling the truth. So you know, and that's what we're gonna stick to that. Just being truthful, y'all, about what we're talking about. So that's what we got going on, y'all. Peace to the tribe, man. Peace to all the loved ones, man. Tuned in, man. We definitely appreciate everybody, man. Support the real, y'all. That's all I can say. You know, we got American Aboriginal Shoes.com. Man, walk like a guy, man. Go support the revolution, man. And shoes, man. It's hand stitched, man. Just came, man. It's some of the coldest designs, man. Like I said, I can't wait to unveil these Supreme Chiefs, y'all. They're stupid. You know what I mean? So shout out to Lever Sub, man. And shout out to the Empress, Miss Mohawk, Aboriginal. Go get you some original tribalwear.com, man. Be Aboriginal, man. You know, rep the culture, man. Support the sisters' business, man. So before you go in and go buy some Nike, some Adidas, some Polo, some Gucci, Dolce, whatever. I don't even know what. I don't even know, y'all. Really don't care. Um, think about, you know, supporting, you know what I'm saying, you know, your people, man. So shout out to that, man. So that's what we got going on, man. Trying to create jobs around cities and who get the jobs. Yeah, Yos, man, that's a fact, man. And a lot of times, man, even when you have a city like Baltimore, right, they'll allow people to come inside the city jurisdiction, outside, and take all the jobs. It goes back to that, and then we leaves us scrounging for certain jobs, even if you're in these unions. So it goes back to those things. So Yos, yeah, you definitely right, and that's why I said y'all the smartest chat room on the planet, man. Because you guys are gonna come, you know, some real conversations, man, and real talk. You know, we having real conversations. We're not yes men and women around here, y'all. So shout out to Grassroots Truth in the building, Creek Running Water. Peace to the guys, man. See if anybody trying to come in yet. No. Yeah, man. Like I said, man, we in the building, y'all, man. So let's just keep this thing going. Y'all already know about the First American Council. Um, what more can I say, man? Like, It's not about what we can do. You know what I mean? It's what you can do. You know what I mean? And whatever, even if it's just you, now you have people that think like you. Apparently, right? You're in the chat room that think like you, that or like-minded people that might be able to bring some talents and some energies and some resources to what you got going on, and you could be the only person in your whole state or city that you feel like it. But guess what? You might link up with Ty Data, he might know somebody in your city. See how that work? That's gonna put you and your family in a whole nother situation in a year, 2 years time with a relationship that you building, networking on these airwaves. So that's what we got going on, y'all. We gotta turn it up. So that's what we got going on, man. We got Marcus in the building, TNT is in the building, Black Wolf, piece of the guys, man. What else we got in there? Kiwanis, the Origines in the building, OCO. Yeah, man. Halito to all the people, man. Chief Kokomo, peace and love. I don't want to miss nobody. Yeah, man. Like I said, man, we in the building, y'all. Like I said, support the real man. Rick Ross, why 50 Cent can't do me like Ja Rule is in the building. OCO, thank you for coming out. I think I got about it. Aboriginal Power, peace, brother. Like I said, man, the links in the chat room. Akeem, peace. Black Caesar, salute. Omega. Yeah, shout out to everybody, man, tuned in. So I was just, y'all know, man, I stay doing research, y'all. I stay on it, like just like that's my spare time. You know what I mean? Even if I got like a couple minutes just to read stuff or whatever, I read books by accident. You know what I mean? I just be like, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? And I just for me, right? Like I'm thoroughly convinced. This is more and more I dig, the more and more information. Uh, uh, the universities, Ivy League, Berkeley, where all these different prestigious universities, right, that even get into social issues, right, and more and more and more and more and more, y'all, that I dig. It only validates everything that I've been saying for years. It's never, because a lot of the stuff, a lot of times when you see it start hitting the mainstream, whether whoever you think it is, as far as the sciences, these guys have been trolling, trying to dispute something that we're putting in the mainstream. So it goes back to the question: are we putting out white information, black information, or is information, right? Information has to have an origin, right? So a lot of times when I'm having conversation with people who have a book, I tell them they bring out a book, I bring out a tomb with bodies in it, bones, science, craniology, right? Archaeology, architecture, you know what I'm saying, that you don't have. You don't have anything to compete with this. You have a goddamn book. How long did it take these people to create this book? How long did it take these people to create this? How much resources went into creating this right here? Who is writing the book? What information would change just by the title being changed something in the book? Just by what how they identifying the people in the book. Indian, Paleo Indian, Negro, you understand what I'm saying? Africans, African descent. All these words matter, especially if somebody's writing and painting a picture for the readers. And if they have the budget to push this narrative in the New York Times, in Berkeley, wherever the fuck, you know what I'm saying? What you guys got to understand is you have to be able to learn how to dodge the hijack. That shout out to Kira Mayo, man. Shout out to Condrop. That is the ultimate thing. Is being able to have discernment enough to understand when these people are trying to pull the wool over your head. Goddamn. And a lot of times when we're dealing with these people, no matter what information that we present them, whether it's from the Smithsonian, when we should all agree that whatever information, whether it's pro us or con us, we should always take the information and always put it under the light to scrutinize whatever information is coming from the Smithsonian, whatever information is coming from nature, whatever information is coming from science, whatever information is coming from the Telegraph, any of these publications, all of them, man, like I don't care. Whatever university comes out or whatever, I do not care. Okay? Shit. So it's absolutely crazy when somebody say black information, white information, right? But it's always interesting to me when you have black Power Rangers who want white validation for everything. I cannot come out with Dr. David Imhotep. Fuck him. You see what I'm saying? I have to go find CBS. I have to go find all these other people when actually I should be able to go to Dr. David Imhotep as the end all be all in this conversation when it comes to ancient African studies. Because guess what? He has the first, not saying that he's the best, just saying that he has the first PhD in ancient African studies, right? Like it'd be like, okay, if I got the first PhD, right? And in my mind, I do, but I created it in ancient American studies. So when people say certain things, you can call it Egypto-American studies, you can call it anything you want to call it, but just guess what? So that would make me the motherfucker, right? If I say, hey, yo, because this is a curriculum and more people are have peer reviewed this and say, you know what, I believe in that paradigm right there. Guess what? I'm gonna fuck with it. Then that will make me the goddamn the actual. If you the originator of something, that would make you the actual right authority of the thing, right? If Dr. David Imhotep has the first ancient African studies PhD, then that means that he should be the actual, right? Not the Smithsonian. You know what I'm saying? So it always goes back to that, and they always try to go out of their way to discredit, you know what I'm saying, these people, while they try to use them when they need to use them to paint a picture or to prove a point. If they wanted to try to prove a point to a European, right, that an African, right, was in America first, they would go get Dr. David Imhotep's book or Dr. Ivan Van Sertin's book that even goes back further than that. So now that conversation goes back to, do we say that Dr. David Imhotep, Dr. Clark, Dr. Ben, or any of your teachers, whether it's in your family, right, should be your first teachers or whoever, gave you information where they pseudo, where they just wrong because they were only going with the information or the indoctrination that they got in their schooling. Like, you can't say that about that. All you got to do is be able to use, remember, eat the meat, spit out the bones. Some of you niggas ate some bones. Let's just be clear. You can't be mad about that. You might have needed them bones, you know what I'm saying, to get you right through. So just real spit, man. Like, y'all gotta, yeah, it's definitely disrespectful, man, because, you niggas is putting out a lot of information for years that has continued to keep getting debunked. So when you niggas is gone and dead, you want niggas to come out, they gonna definitely be dragging you niggas. Because the information that you niggas is putting out right now is garbage right now. You think it's not gonna be garbage 200 years from now? Yeah. Some nigga gonna go back and be like, you hear this shit what Garfield said? You hear this shit what Unc said? Y'all remember Unc saying that a modern Homo sapien made love to an ancient Homo sapien. I just think that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. I don't even know what more to say. Now, check it out. Is he pseudo? Is he trying to pull the wool over his eyes? Did he just make a mistake? Either way, he says this all the time. He just says it in different ways. It goes back to it just goes back to just word spells. And Sister Renee is going to try to act like she doesn't have anything to do with word spells when she actually does. But I've never said out my mouth ever that slavery never happened. I said slavery's fake. There's a difference. And they enslave people. Enslavement looks like prison of war. Enslavement looks like apprenticeship. Slavery looks like indentured service. Slavery looks like, right, employment. This is enslavement, right? And they could interchange these however whenever they want to do it. Now, shout out to Sister Betty Love. Last night, y'all seen them. We were going through the different dolls roles or whatever, because they would have you to believe that only pale people on these roles, and you're never going to even look on them to see whether or not your people on them, right? Your actual ancestors. Some of y'all went past the 1900s, so you should be able to go back and see whether or not your people on here, that just it could be a you know a paternal, you know what I'm saying, great grandfather somewhere or whatever, and something that you just need to know, that fulfill you, to know who you are, what bloodline is in your family. You might find some slaves, you might find some landowners, you might find some masters. This is how this thing works. But one thing is, though, they put us all under the same categories. All you niggas are slaves. All you niggas is all this. And I know it's a lot of people that's going back, finding their families and coming back, and they all say, man, we finding land, finding out none of my people was a slave. And I think that is beautiful. Do you know how that makes you feel? The self-esteem, the you know what I mean, the things that you could pass down to your grandchildren. So that's how I'm proud. I've always had something proud that was passed down to me. So it gave me strength, wings to excel in life. You know what I'm saying? Even though I still tried to go the academia way, which always takes you away from your family. And we're gonna talk about that tonight too, man. We're gonna talk about family business, man. Shout out to the Jernigans. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, be on the lookout for Jerjacks. And like I said, the conference in October, man, the America First Peace and Prosperity Conference, man, is a family reunion, man. It's families coming together, man, for you can't do business with your family. Well, damn, you definitely ain't gonna be able to do business in the community. So you should be able to definitely do business with your family, right? Your family members your beautician should be your family member. Y'all grew up doing hair, so now it's your cousin. Oh yeah, she do my hair too still, because she went and you helped her go through school. Then you guys went into business. You know what I'm saying? Because you a real estate agent or whatever. She doing hair. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, we have to work together, y'all, to get to the next level. And we got to leave something for our children. So this is the whole concept when we're talking about family, and we're talking about what's the problem in our community. That's the problem. We keep making excuses, you know what I'm saying, going back to Jim Crow. You know what I'm saying? We have a Jim Crow mindset. That's the goddamn problem. We got to stop having a Jim Crow mindset. And it's always interesting to me how they can put their talking points of slavery, but they fit it into the Jim Crow era. Like, Jim Crow and slavery are not the same eras. And they like to act like Jim Crow is like the continuation of slavery, and you know what I mean, or whatever. Well, we'll get to the 13th Amendment, right? We're going to talk about this tonight. We're going to talk about some things that preceded the 13th Amendment, right? And what these guys say, oh yeah, no, you got the fugitive slave laws and stuff, right? Then you'd be like, well, wait a minute. The fugitive slave laws, right? Because it didn't say the fugitive black slave laws, right? Even in their description of it, right? But when you get to breaking down the actual verbiage of it, it literally doesn't say slave or slavery inside the text of this so-called fugitive slave law. You understand what I'm saying? So, and this is before the formation of the so-called. Oh, that's another thing too. It's like the same thing, because we're used to this, right? Because you can sit in church and your pastor could teach from the New Testament, but he'd go dip and get stories and information from the Old Testament and drag it into the New Testament. This is what these niggas do, man. I'm telling y'all gotta understand, it is the most agentry shit ever, because these niggas supposed to be scholars. And this is why another reason I'm so interested in this debate with Jabari and Garfield, because it's personal. So they're gonna really go at each other's necks to expose each other's paradigms, which is incredible, right? Because when you do this, right, Renee, there's another reason I wanted to do the debate after their debate, because everything that you're standing on is going to be destroyed in that debate between each other. So it's being destroyed right now, just listening to the weigh-ins, listening to, the things that they said, me knowing the history of this or whatever, understanding why they have to walk away from Africa. And eventually, no matter what the situation is, even somebody black or whatever, because once again, you're going with social constructs. So if you start peeling away these words, Africa, certain things, and black or whatever, then you kind of start seeing the psychological, you know, chains that are wrapped around these dudes' brains, these people's brains. So this is the concept, y'all. Y'all got to understand this is all psychological slavery. Slavery is not a color. So even we talking about the Constitution from Go, we're talking about the 13th, 14th, whatever fucking amendment. It does not say, oh, this is only for black people. Because right now, today, if you got a motherfucker who is Aryan Brotherhood, who has got triple life, never getting out, right? He is a slave for life. Period. That doesn't, yo, like, y'all don't understand what I'm saying. So they've been tricking us and putting us in the trick bag every time. So the fugitive slave law has nothing to do with that. Like, yo, if you go into a contract with somebody, they teach you how to be a shoesmith, right? And you feel like, man, I've got what I need to get. I'm out. I'm about to go over here and do my thing on my own. They can sue you, send somebody after you, whatever. And then it was so ironic when you start going back and listening to these different stories. These people is fighting back and forth in court for years. I'm like, how a slave going to court? Who is his lawyer? Who's fighting for him? Like, come on, man. So listen, y'all gonna have some problems. Who is Dred Scott's lawyer? Who funded him to go all the way to the Supreme Court? Y'all got to answer these questions, and this is the problem that you're gonna have because you're never gonna be able to do it. Because when you're looking for the Tinkerbell, right? You're trying to figure out if Tinkerbell is real. You're never gonna be able to do it. You're gonna find out if Tinkerbell is fake, or you're gonna find out who's the author of Tinkerbell. And this is what they keep running into, all these goddamn stories. And I don't understand, why could you tell me about something that happened in the 1700s? Why do you fit your lips to be in it in 2020? Like, oh, this only applies to your running slave ass. Like, here, right here, it's a Fugitive Slave Act. This is only for black people. We got it right here. Before the Constitution was nigga, no, the Constitution was written 1,000 years before 1770 anything. We've been had law and order on this land. Before we act like we were savages and they came over here and gave us law and order. Hell no. How we build all this? Oh, we just got a bunch of savages building all this civilization over in America. Get the fuck out of here. Oh, then we gotta come tame you niggas, make you niggas slaves. So you can build cotton gins. You can be man, come on, man. Just the level of dumbness, right, that comes with this. Now, this is the $1 million question of the night, y'all. What's the fucking difference between Afrocentrism, I can't even say the shit right, and Eurocentric? What's the difference? What is the difference between Afrocentric and Eurocentric? Can anybody give me anything? Because once again, you're gonna tell me that Spain is Europe, right? And Tunisia is Africa. Maybe some people don't. Some people think that Northern Africa is actually Europe, but that's another story because that's why the Kemetic priest Jabari is attached to that, because it comes from them. It comes from these orders and things. See, like, I don't know if Jabari will go where I would go. I don't know. I mean, Rafi, I don't know if he would go. I would go there. So I'm not going to really give him those things, but I would really go there because you have to attach people to the storyline that they're following, right? We follow the storyline of our ancestors. Fuck what you talk about, nigga. You follow the storyline of these people right here, and once again, it goes back to the origin of stories. Just because it has a black face on it, I don't give a fuck who you talk about. These niggas they already showed you they wasn't for the people in their life. First off top. So that's automatic. We had a side eye. So we already looking at that nigga like, nah, off top. So if you write something, nigga, we're like, okay, well, who funded this? So then once we start finding out, okay, well, this person right here was funded by the Carnegies. This person was funded by the Rockefellers. This person had a handler. Documented. This person a member of the Big Six. This is documented. How the fuck do we allow niggas that's still a part of the Big Six to be a part of leadership or even any conversations? As soon as we hear their name, niggas should act the fuck up, nigga. I'm acting the fuck up on the spot. I'm not about to be like, I'm trying to be proper. Oh, they're talking about Al Sharpton. Fuck Al Sharpton. Fuck you. Is this real? Bro? Why? Remember, why is no little boy nowhere gonna say, hey man, when I grow up, I want to be Al Sharpton? Never. They're never gonna say it. Ever. Ever, 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 ever. Fuck is you talking about? So you wonder why niggas would gravitate to a rapper. He seems a little bit more free than you motherfuckers. A little bit more. But goddamn, niggas say we all conscious. How the fuck you unconscious ass niggas? You niggas is unconscious. There's no possible way where you think that you conscious when you still falling for the same 1920 ass shit. It's 2020. It's 100 years and you still falling for the same banana in the tailpipe. That is absolutely unacceptable. At some point, right? At some point, we gotta say, yo, this nigga right here, he says he's really this right here, like I know little not honor and what's happened to common sense and all these guys be going in on Tariq, you know, man, and Umar, right? At some point, y'all, come on. I be like, yeah, damn, how much more exposing do these niggas need to get? At this point, it don't even matter. Y'all understand what I'm saying? How much exposing do they have to expose each other? I think that's interesting. So I just look back at that, man. What are y'all intentions? What's going on or whatever? Even when I went over to ADOS101.com, right? I had to see. I'm looking through this shit, trying to figure it out, and they literally list, right? Yeah, I can't make this up, y'all. It's so vague, like who's eligible, you know what I'm saying, for this. And then they kind of have a vague description of, who your grandparents got to be. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And then, I don't know. They don't really break down, okay, well, what if one of your grandparents, or which grandparents could it have to be for you to be considered an ADOS? You know what I'm saying? So it's just a little vague. And I think it needs to be a little bit more clear. You know what I'm saying? So these are the questions I would like to ask Antonio Moore or Sister Yvette. We're not going to even get into, the political or the social, disagreements. I'm not going to get into that. I would like to ask those questions. Like, how will we be able to? Is there any documents, or do we just say, hey, because I said I'm ADOS? See what I'm saying? And also, right, if pale people, aka Europeans, right, who we know actually came here, but what if they could trace themselves back to an enslaved person, right, here in America? Now, here's the thing. Even if you can attach yourself to an enslaved person, what if it's legal? What if these people legally went into a servitude thing, right? And remember, we're going back to words, right? Remember, we talked about family being associated with slavery. So when we start finding, that they label the wife, the children, right, the 15 children, they labeled them as under the term of a servant, of a slave, or whatever. It has nothing. Like, y'all gotta understand that even when we're going back looking at documentation, we've actually showed this, y'all. This is some bullshit. And we're going through Noah Webster's works and stuff like that, even before the 1828 stuff, you could find that on slave, it was instead of an S, it was an F. Okay? It was like Flav, like it was crazy. Like, y'all gotta get it, y'all gotta say what I'm saying. So yeah, man. So like, when we're talking about, getting to the etym of these words, like queen, like family, not that it was a negative thing, but you was an unpaid laborer, you know what I'm saying? And they wasn't giving you any money, right, in this tradition, because this is you living on the land. This is your land. What money system, where would you go? You going to Nordstrom's? Where you going? Bloomingdale's? Where you going? Right? You order some shit online, you go to Walmart, go to Piggly Wiggly. Nah, nigga, everything was self-sustained, on your land and your family. And the wealth of a man was his children and whatever. But you didn't own these people. Like, these are my slaves. You know what I'm saying? Like, George Washington owned his family members. Nah, nigga, these his family members. And that's why they try to fool y'all. George Washington, Thomas Jefferson made love to only black people. It only passed down to black people. Get the fuck out of here. Y'all believe this because that's the Eurocentric, Afrocentric storyline, right? There's no difference between a Eurocentric nigga and an Afrocentric nigga. They have the same conversations. It's the same story, right? And no matter how the Afrocentric, he's still the black sector of history. You know what I'm saying? He's always gonna lose in the same, even when they're being enslaved, even when they're losing certain situations. And I don't even understand why you even get the black-white thing, because even these so-called kings and so-called conquistadors were people of color when they first came here. So, but they still push a Eurocentric. So we just have I just say what's black with Euro Afrocentric and Eurocentric. You have black-white. It's the same coin. It's just the two different sides of the same coin. So Eurocentric and Afrocentric are white, black, white. It's interchangeable, and they're saying the same goddamn thing. Period. Okay. So that's how I need to say that. I needed to put that out there, whatever. This was on my heart, y'all, and I just, like I said, I couldn't, not let this go. Let these guys go and say the shit they keep saying out their mouth. It just makes no sense. So once again, Sister Renee says, "Hey, no. I don't want to have nothing to do with word spells." But yes, we gotta talk word spells because you're talking slavery, right? And she believes that white people are slaves. I'm gonna be able to break that down, whatever. Because once again, if I'm arguing against that, then if I say slavery never existed, then why am I even arguing, Sister Renee? Why am I even arguing that the fact that pale people were slaves? That means that makes no goddamn sense. See how that works? So I'm not saying that slavery never existed. I said that the Kunta Kinte story, the Middle Baptist story, is fake. And can somebody please, let's remember, when I get ready to debate, y'all, I turn into Kunta, right? I'm trying to find Kunta's Kinte's family members and everybody else, y'all. So y'all about to, y'all be like, what Chief, what's up with Chief? I have turned into Kunta, meaning I'm going to do all my due diligence in anything slave, okay? Because I can't allow her to be able to bring, hey, fugitive slave act. I'm like, all right, it says right here that, this is not slavery or slave or slavery is not in the text of the so-called fugitive slave act, okay? This is labor. This is commerce. Labor was important. Taking somebody's time, you know what I'm saying? It was even biblical, because if you understand that, it was a biblical overtone to law. So if you had to come work for somebody or whatever the case may be, whatever, and then you went against that, shit, it was times when they would just motherfucking hang you or some shit. Be running away. Yeah. You know what I'm saying, y'all? So once again, it goes back to perception. Sister Renee believes that Caucasian people are only indentured servants. She does not believe they were slaves. Okay? She only believes that chattel. Oh, then they started to get fancy with, chattel slavery. That just means you're in a chain, right? So y'all have seen pale people on a chain. That's not, no. They came over here in chains. Slavery was class, brother. It had nothing to do with caste. At some point. So this is what we're dealing with, y'all. We'll put the link in the chat room again, yeah. Peace to the tribe, man. Peace to all the great ones, man. Y'all tuned in to the greatest of all time. That's what's up, man. Mikey G, 13. He said, can you address peoples and folks talking shit about you, bro? Nah, not really, family. I can't, brother. I just wish that brother all the love in the world. Like I said, when I be in Chicago, we come break bread, man. I'm probably old enough to be his daddy, man. You know what I'm talking about? So I don't address youngsters like that, man. I'm here to lead him. You know what I mean? So that's all I can say, man. So peace to that brother. He can always come on here and address anything that I'm saying, but when I've never disrespected him, the Prophet Noble Ali, anything like that. And like I said, I don't go back. I just take the Jews that I can get from the past and from the greats like the Prophet knows you Ali. So yeah, I don't have anything to say to that, brother. Anybody, a lot of people talk shit about what I'm doing because I'm the greatest. That's why. So they're gonna take shots at the top. They're gonna take shots at the king. That's why they go. Like, what you gonna do? You know what I mean? He throwing rocks. I ain't even that shit ain't even hit my heel. You know what I'm talking about? So I don't even be hearing about some of this stuff. I'm so busy, y'all, so I ain't got time for that. For real, for real. So yeah, that's why I say to that, man. Peace to that, brother. And you know me, I'm never ducking nothing. They can always hit the link. Right? Hold on, put it in that channel again so everybody can see it. You know, they know. Yeah, they know. They know how to come on and get embarrassed, y'all. Yeah, man. Like I said, man, be Aboriginal, man. Go check out www.originaltribalwear.com, man. Go support this Aboriginal, this Mohawk Aboriginal, man. And you know, go check out AmericanAboriginalShoes.com too, man. Some great shoes over there, man. So Chad Murdoch, shout out to Chad Murdoch, said Middle Passage predates these white. It predates British. It actually was alleged from the Spanish conquistadors in the 14 and 1600s. Yeah, I mean they wanna say when they came here, you know, like on a Christopher Columbus and oh yeah, Columbus was such a dick. He just came over and beat and raped all these people. Oh, hold on, hold. What we saying is, right, check this out. Yeah, he did all this without no guns. He came to where it was overwhelmingly us chilling brothers and sisters. Come on, y'all. Like, once again, that's a story. See, we're gonna have to go through and debunk the whole Christopher Columbus myth. You know what I'm saying? That this, even if this person ever existed, this is a story, a line that they're painting a picture of the Knights of Columbus, these different Jesuits and all these other people. Oh, how they came in and did all this to us. This is all alleged. These are stories. It's not true. Okay? It's not true. These people did not jumping off no goddamn boats without no guns, no Gatling guns, and shoot nobody down, doing nothing. Man, we got arrows. We were pincushioning them, y'all. Y'all understand what I'm saying? We had the numbers. We still do. It's your mind that makes you believe that you're a minority. Okay? So get it together. Your gene, your essence is makes you the dominant, makes you the majority, man. So come on, stop it. Myself, only the wise is in the building. Peace of the guys, man. Hold on one second, y'all.
You gotta say something. They already came with you.
Hey, yeah, man. So once again, man, y'all see it, man. Happy birthday, Marianne Jernigan. Shout out to the Jernigan's Carvers, Kaylin. Yeah, man. Hold on, we got Chad in the building. Jamaica's in the building. Peace, my brother.
Big ups, big ups, big ups. I just wanted to add it to what you're saying, elaborate on what I was saying.
Absolutely. Always, brother. Go ahead, brother. You got the floor.
But the Middle Passage was actually the triangular slave trade with the is the Indian slave trade, basically. So
okay. So when you say triangular, what triangular would be from the America to the Caribbean islands back to the Gulf Coast, right? So they say from the east, right? From the east coast, say from the Pequots going into to Barbados, into Jamaica, Haiti, and then taking prisoners from there. And then basically it's called blackbirding out. So this would be the triangular slave trade. And what's so crazy is now you got day trips, right? And even if a trip that took months, let's just say from Cuba to Connecticut, for instance, right? That took 4 months. the Amistad, La Amistad, right? It took 4 months, right? And I'm trying to let you get this story. So La Amistad, right, left Cuba and was going to another place in Cuba. So they didn't have months worth of provisions, water, right? So when they took the ship over in Cuba, right before they got to the other place in Cuba, they went from Cuba around to Florida, went around Florida, went up the East Coast. They stopped 40 times within 4 months. Okay, getting water, food, coming in all through slave. This is all so-called slave territory, right? Then they finally got stopped up in Connecticut, and then they go through the whole trial stuff, or whatever. So when you actually get into that, it's really not about slavery, y'all. It's really about cargo. It's really about piracy. Who can take something, who can own something, and
Exactly.
things of that nature. So these people were not trying to get to Africa; they were trying to get home. Basically, what I'm trying to say. So they knew where they were going. They stopped 40 times. Like they even break down the different stops that this ship made, bro. It's stupid. So for them to be doing all this slave trading, now you got a captured so-called slave boat that took over and then go all through slave ports and all through slave territory. Really? Y'all believe this? They getting out getting food and shit. Come on, bro. Going to McDonald's.
And the
Y'all, this shit crazy. Go ahead, brother.
majority of the crops that the Africans don't have that over there to have the science to cultivate it, come and for them to enslave them over here and to cultivate that now. Like corn, sugarcane, and cocoa. Cocoa was a big primary in with the Spanish when they originally came over here. Cocoa was the primary because they used it when they realized that it could be used as a herb cure the sick in Europe. You get me? You there?
Yeah, I'm here, brother. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's my output on that. But it would be virtually impossible. That would take more years to educate or domesticate Africans to have done that such a feat. That till to this day they're claiming that the Africans still know approximately more about them than the land. Like in the Caribbean islands, we know more than them about the islands and about the herbs them on the islands than them. And they allegedly claim the alleged myth is that Spanish brought us here when there's no evidence to back that up. And then they're changing it up and bringing it close to the 18th century and saying we're part of the transatlantic slave trade. When they came here and saw us, so this was all fairy tale or folklore they came here and created. And then now
Facts.
using forms of pseudoscience to back it up, like DNA.
Oh, absolutely. And that's interesting too, man, because every time that you get a Joker, like say Garfield, right? And you right now you're on the ground in Jamaica, correct?
Yeah, I'm on the ground out here.
Okay. So you're born and raised in Jamaica, correct?
Yeah,
You
born
never
and raised.
left. You still live
Never,
there today. You never left.
I never left this island once.
Okay. So that means that you know people that are still there. You talk to the stories, people that have been there before any boats ever came to the island of Jamaica. Is this correct?
Yes, yeah.
So that would make you more of a credible person than, let's just say, a non-Jamaican, correct?
Most definitely.
Okay, so I just kind of wanted to paint a picture for people, man, because a lot of times they say stuff, y'all, that doesn't make any sense. They're gonna tell this man that he's an African when he could literally trace himself to the land that he's standing on as we speak. I think that's the craziest shit ever to me, and they can't prove now that they
Cannot
came from
prove.
a boat from somewhere else, right? Africa or whatever. But
No,
they
this is
can't
what
definitely can't prove this. Tell this man nothing. Go ahead, brother.
And I find it very provocative that this is what they tell the tribes out here to try take away from their sovereignty. But some fictional African groups of African came here millions of years ago and integrated, right? Integrated. Um, Came on canoes. I never know Africans rode on canoes, but okay. But this is what they tell the tribes out here to try and they have Africans or some group of people that's trying to break down the tribes them out here, come and create all sort of confusion. So you have tribes out here who don't even want to no form of contact from the outside world, because as he said, every means or any means of people coming to help them or try to document is some form of infiltration.
Facts. So, I haven't spoke to you since I heard the news of the earthquake in the Caribbean islands. Can you give us any insight on that? Because we haven't heard anything, because it was happened literally the same day that Kobe Bryant, which
Died. Yeah,
maybe
that's
eight
one
other people were
suspicion.
affected. So yeah, go ahead, brother.
Well, my own take on it, because I was at home, it was I don't know how to elaborate on it, like what necessarily that you guys would want to hear, because
Well, it was a 7.7.
what you guys heard about it.
Yeah, they said it was 7.7. Was there any lives affected? Were there any damage?
It was the
Did you
longest
feel it?
earthquake. Yeah, it was the longest duration of earthquake I ever felt. But they were saying some elders were saying because they start using back. I don't know if you guys know of Port Royal.
Port Royal.
Yeah, Port Royal, the history of Port Royal.
You got to refresh my memory, but I definitely heard of Port Royal. Go ahead, brother.
Basically, Port Royal was one of those cities that the basically was like Jamaica's Wall Street, but it's all forms of corruption. So they said it sank, right? It was one of the world's richest city. It's used to go and dump them treasure there, and you get me? You can hear me? So that's basically the synopsis on that. So it's just they use some people believe say curse, like the reason why it sank because it was cursed because of the 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 the, the all the killings that used to go on, and the crazy stuff that used to go on.
Yeah, man. So so yeah, man. So I like I said, man, it's a lot going on, yeah. In the world today, and as people could see, like people take stuff for granted. Now, not only was Kobe and his daughter, which that was notable people, but it was other families affected, in that crash as well. It just I think it helps people to it's interesting when you see people that say, "Hey, man, that right there made me think I need to, patch stuff up with this person or my family member or some things like that or whatever." So I just think that these things, you always gotta take take any good that you can get out of bad situations. You know what I mean? And so it's just unfortunate that we got the type of environment that we have where everybody's so conspiratorial. You know what I mean? So even with the Jamaicans, I mean, with the earthquake in the Caribbean islands, right? Oh, that's hard. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, what does this mean?
Yeah.
Like,
So you
just in
just
the
get that
psyche of people,
old
like
man.
they only do it there, like only to brown people in the Caribbean islands that they try to kill and try to make earthquakes with this hard thing. I just think it's interesting that these secret government agencies, right, are doing these horrific things to people around the world, somebody gonna have to have a conversation, like for real, at some point. Like we gotta stop being so like slow. Is this right or is it wrong? What's going on? Or is this just people making shit up, or are these people putting certain information out, right, for a certain social engineering, right? Is
Mm-hmm.
Haiti, is DR, is Jamaica worthy, of anything? You know what I'm saying? And it goes back to that, y'all. Like we don't we don't show value to our own people, and I think we got to get back to that. Like even when they put out fake ass news stories and certain things, certain mindsets, we have to fight against that. We cannot allow these people to make us see each other like that. Oh, I see these people a certain way. Oh, they see us a certain way based off of television. You know what I'm saying? That it shouldn't work like that, y'all. And we have to stop playing the Afrocentric black, Eurocentric white card. That's never gonna work. That's manufactured. It's fake. Think about it. Everything that's attached to it is pseudo. And it's always interesting to me that these guys are trying to tell somebody pseudo. So you got the Almond Fry Squad trying to bang against Jabari for being a Haru worshiper and this mystery unseen Amen God, right? The whole name of their squad is Almond Fried Squad. Goddamn. Amen Ra, nigga. Like, is this real? So when y'all say stuff, man, it's just like the hypocrisy is just overwhelmingly dumb to me. Oh, you guys don't have no pyramids in America. What about the pyramid of the sun? We're done. Like I got to keep going. I ain't got to go no further. Oh, that's not a real pyramid, huh? Like, do you even know what a pyramid is? And we've been through these different debates to where now they'll try to. Like I remember one dude we did a debate before, yeah, and he was like, he pulled up the definition of pyramid. He thought he had me, but he didn't understand that I'm reading it too, right? I'm looking it up too, and he went from the first definition to the fifth definition. He skipped 2, 3, 4. I'm like, man, what about 2, 3, and 4 right here? Like you see what I'm saying? Like they don't want to, nigga. Like these all conversations. You have different types of pyramids that are not even necessarily pointed at the top. You got circular pyramids. It has nothing to do with what you say it is. That's your rendition. But a mound predates a step pyramid. A step pyramid predates a smooth pyramid. Okay? Period. So when people say stuff, have your facts, have your information, have your science, have anything that you have, on deck for us. Please do that for me. And also, when you calling everybody slave, right? You calling everybody African descent, right? Please have some facts and no theories attached to this conversation. Well, you can't do that because guess what? All your information is going to go back to a fucking hypothesis or a fucking theory, right? That's attached to Darwinism, that's attached to eugenics, that's attached to your master teachers. This is how this works. It doesn't go
And
back
that's
to
why
you're
I
gonna say,
wanted to
hey, my
come on
grandparents.
here about this too. Like if you
Yeah,
address the treaties, right? So our
say what?
question is what they mean by slavery? Because from our perspective, we should be thinking, say, was in a we had a covenant with you, because you guys, your ancestors created the U.S. So how they saying that the U.S. enslaved you when you built the U.S. for yourselves to share amongst you and the settlers. You get me?
Yeah.
So that means that they broke the treaties. That's they admitting to break the treaties.
Right.
They broke the treaties and saying that, and then telling you that they abolished slavery. You shouldn't have been enslaving us in the first place. If we was going by the treaty, so they're admitting that they've been dishonest and that they even admitting that their religion is a hoax by saying slavery
Right.
is abolished, because they were using their religion to justify the atrocities that they were doing to our people. But they never put it on paper. Notice that they've never put it on paper, write it down, said they've
Well,
done.
right. Like, where's the law for slavery? You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? You talking about because you never got a law to abolish something that you never had. See what I'm saying? It's
But the
always
thing is,
game,
not
y'all.
what,
It's fucking game.
meaning of the word abolish, which is it was applied to themselves. What they were doing is ditching the responsibilities of
Right.
the shit that they created. That's basically what they're saying. Abolish means to abrogate. Abrogate means to ditch your responsibilities. So
I
that's
mean,
what.
you always
Because
gotta
the
follow
treaties
money.
is there, the treaties are there, and this is why none of them people here from the Pan African community can ever address the treaties, because the treaties alone would break their whole entire reality. They don't have
Mm.
no argument.
Yeah, they definitely don't. I mean, yeah, bro, like the stupidity, bro. I gotta go back to that once
Yo,
again.
address, we went to war with these people. We went to war and won. You guys defeated the US 3 times. 3 times, the US and the Navy. We out here defeated the Haitian defeated the French Empire, that is Napoleon. That's Napoleon, and we defeated the British and the Spaniards, the Jamaicans. Because after we ran the something there, the Spaniards out, the British come, and then the Spaniards came back and was giving us guns like how they gave your Gullah Geechee and Seminole ancestors. And we took it to the British, tell that we had them on them knees, and them was begging us not to kill them. And the treaty, the original treaty, what they break, it said they shall leave with no return. And you see motherfuckers still coming out here and setting up like talking about this is a colony and claiming that they've gave us independence. But when we spark up the conversation about reparation, tax exemption, all of these, the same people who still turn up them nose to it. So you see, so there's a wealth gap that's have been created. Because what you know what they've done? They sanction all our communities, and this is why they have these provocative um imagery about our people putting out there, because it's to promote sex tourism. In all, is the same thing that they're doing in Africa. Everywhere these people go and find indigenous aboriginal people is the same thing they do. Is the same thing they do. They're trying to promote sex tourism, so we offer up ourselves as prostitutes, and we only the crime just stay in our communities. Period. It doesn't. You notice they're not nobody not killing no white people out here, or even in the states. You even in the states, you guys
Facts.
make up 31% of the crime, but you is the only people going in the prison cells. We It's just crazy, bro. It's just crazy.
Mm-mm. Now, it's interesting that you said that we do 31% of the crime. Now, I'm sure that you can find Pew Research, right? And I don't like using any percentages and stuff like that because these things are never absolute, and numbers are kind of absolute. You know
I
what I'm
agree.
saying?
I agree.
So, but you know what I'm saying? But coming with that being said, though, these are the type of things that they use to say that. So that's disproportionate amount of the people that are making up the prison system, whatever. Which once again is the only form of slavery that has been legal in this country for over 150 years. Am I correct? Oh, Chad's gone. I mean, so that's a question for everybody, you know, and I know the answer to that, right? So, according for over 150 years, so the only form of slavery has been a way of treason, um, right? Penance, you're locked up for whatever reason, for any time period or whatever, you know, that will put you into a form of slavery, okay? And if you start getting a little bit more technical and stuff like that or whatever, you can even go a little deeper than that when you get into employment, apprenticeship. And what's so crazy is even about, you know, somebody teaching you something, like literally somebody being your goddamn teacher, right? Master Luke, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, this is the head master right here, but this is my master. Bruce Lee had a master before he became a master, right? You have to have a master before you become the master, correct? Like, I mean, come on, y'all. Like, can we please get this together? Master William, you know, he called Carlton a master. He called little Ashley his master because he was serving them as a proper term. So once again, once we start getting the British bullshit, right? Like I still can't understand for the life of me how does the so-called British royal family have anything, literally any interest over here? Like anything that these people are doing, why would that even interest us in America? Like for real, like that should be the ultimate slapping everybody that would consider themselves a red-blooded American. Why? Like we don't like if we're gonna go and we're gonna say, okay, America wasn't built on a monarchy, then that right there shouldn't even be popular. See what I'm saying? But because we have a bar, because we have a British mindset, British schooling, right? That we think like fucking British people. Whether you in the Caribbean islands, if you was taught by these people in Bermuda, in Guyana, or whatever the fuck ever, Jamaica, wherever, right? Words, spells matter. Where you could have went from a brown maroon Spanish, right, to a maroon runaway in a British mindset and a British way of thinking. And me and the brother Chad had to go back and forth for that. You know, so I had to tell him, bro, you're speaking English. That's not the indigenous. You know what I'm saying? So at some point we got to go back to the origin, the etym of words. Where was the Maroons before the British got there? Oh, they changed it. They could change it from a noun to a verb and the meaning of it right in your face. Cimarron to Seminole. This is how they're doing this. This is how they're winning with word matches, with word spells. I don't give a fuck what else. And if you tell somebody that Christopher Columbus or anybody, DeSoto, anybody, everybody got their ass kicked. Like we wasn't too many of us. You had to divide and conquer, and that got that from us. Man, we got to divide them, conquer them. No way. And you think it's about color. Fuck that. Nigga, everybody, man, has nothing to do with color. You think they just now integrating shit. Get out of here. The fact that they have to integrate stuff is letting you know that there was a problem. Somebody was putting out a certain narrative, a certain picture that they want for power, to keep certain people separated. Oh, we can keep these people separated while we run off with the bag. Come on, bro. Like we gotta think smarter and not like we getting played across the board. So that's kind of where I'm at with it, y'all. Hold on a second, man. We in the building. Peace to the tribe, man. Put the link back in the chat room, man. Peace and love to everybody, man. Like I said, man, y'all tuned into the greatest of all time. Hey, man, Sylvia Williams is in the building. 2000 ended a period. Omega. That's right. Alpha and Omega. That's what's happening. That is what's happening, y'all. You know, I don't believe there's never an ending. You know what I mean? Like it's just the cycle is just to keep going, keep renewing, to keep replenishing, to keep coming back, start over. You know what I'm saying? So I don't even know about this time thing. You know, we're talking about, you know, and like I said, peace to my favorite sister-in-law. happy holiday, happy new year. You know what I'm saying? And we're talking about, you know, how we see stuff. You know what I'm saying? We can't always see it from their perspective. So we, you know, and a lot of times when people say New Year, right? Like, you know, everybody say, Happy New Year, and that's not the New Year. The New Year's in the spring. You know what I mean? And then, like I said, some people say, hey, Happy New Year, Happy Birthday. You know what I mean? Happy Holiday. So yeah, man. So peace to Miss Mary Ann Jackson Jernigan. Shout out to the Jacks. Coming soon, y'all, man. Hey, man, y'all go subscribe to Kaylin _ Jernigan. You know what I'm saying? Go check her page out, y'all. She should be in the chat room, man. Miss Mary Jackson. Happy birthday, y'all. Happy New Year. Happy holiday, whatever. Y'all, we in the building. Like I said, man, peace to the tribe, y'all. It's all love. We in the building. I'm cooking. So anybody want to come on the panel, man, let me know. Like I said, the link's in the chat room. We're gonna get it in. I still wanna go over the 3/5 compromise, y'all. I think it's very crazy and it's very irresponsible for people like Renee to keep pushing 3/5 human clause. I think that's just defeatism. You know what I mean? Like you just make up something, or you'll find whatever narrative that will put you in a loser position. So, you know, just wanted to point out, you know, that the whole Pan-African, the whole so-called Black Power mindset is a loser's mindset. And I just got to say that, and I want to keep that real. And, you know, I don't think people should be, you know, like let's just talk about it. Like, you know, let's don't get emotional about it. Let's talk about it and let's see whether or not what I'm saying is a truth or if it's not real. So like I said, I just go through our history and say, oh wait a minute, I think that's true, y'all. Hold on a second. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I think we can have a hindsight to be able to go back and say, hey, well, whether that's the truth or that's not real, I don't think people really take that into consideration as much as we should. That we got the luxury to critique history. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that we have the luxury to make shit up or allow other people to make stuff up. It don't make sense, right? Just because it makes you feel good, that's not history. That's not reality. And so a lot of times people take their beliefs or stories and they say, oh, well, that's history. And they taking somebody else's rendition, somebody else's story. And we do that too much in our community, that we have allowed other people to give us our history. And it always goes back to me. Every time I hear that, oh, the Mormons got our history, I'm like, huh? How? I'll say, the motherfuckers just got here. Our history go back long before they was thought about. So I don't know about that one, y'all. But when they start taking records, so I think we got to get into those records too. Whether or not we got to call them and see what's Gucci or not, but we got to figure this thing out. And whatever's impeding us from progressing, whatever's got us paralyzed economically, socially, whatever, you know, I think we got to address it. I don't think that we have the luxury to not address these things, y'all. You know what I'm saying? I was like, real shit, yeah. I don't think we got the luxury to do this without, you know, without we owe it. We owe it to everybody, man, to really look into this shit, man, and to see what's good. I don't think that we have the luxury of making the same mistakes. Like I said, you know, there's no way for us to say, oh man, yo, we know they're gonna put the banana in the tailpipe again. Oh, let's let them do it. Oh, man, come on, y'all. Like that's the epitome of fucking insanity. Like we know something's not gonna work, and we just keep doing it. So I think it's an interesting paradigm that we find ourselves in 2020. That we supposed to. Yeah, man. So shout out to everybody, man, tuned in. Like I said, y'all want to get into the 3/5 compromise. You know, like these conversations is just crazy as hell to me. You know, when I hear people say, "Oh well, you know, it's a 3/5 compromise," they don't even say 3/5 compromise. They don't even call it what it really is. Once again, we talking about word spells, Renee. So when you say the 3/5 human clause, right? 3/5 human, right? That is a social engineered conversation. It has nothing to do with the 3/5 clause, correct? I'm gonna put the link in the chat room too, so y'all can go to it. But I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna get into it a little bit, so we don't get confused about what we're talking about right now, y'all. I just think it's always interesting. Um, how we could just put ourselves, how we could put ourselves in that position. Jay Freeway, peace, brother.
Peace. What's good, Chief?
Chilling, man. Chilling. Celebrating my favorite sister-in-law's birthday, man. And so we're gonna drop a little information, man. So you right in time, man. I'm about to get into this 3/5 compromise because it's been mistakenly pushed
This
as a
3/5
3/5
what?
human clause. Yeah, the 3/5 compromise is being pushed as black people are 3/5 humans, right? And they attribute it back to Darwinism. And I don't know how the fuck they got a 3/5 compromise to a 3/5 human Darwinist clause, but I definitely can imagine how this agenda is out there because that agenda has always been working against our people. So we're gonna point that out, and also I'm gonna point out people like Sister Renee that she literally pushes 3/5 human clause. She literally pushes the narrative that black people, right, who are descendants of Africans, right, who are descendants of slaves, are 3/5 fucking humans. She literally pushes this. She literally pushes this talking point.
So wait,
And literally,
where did she get it from, man? I'm
bro,
curious.
these are the questions I'm gonna ask her in the debate. Where did you get this? I hope she don't. Hope she not. I hope she tap out, bro. Like I'm gonna destroy every aspect of everything from the 13th Amendment to the 14th Amendment to the 3/5 Human Clause to your fugitive slave laws. Anything that you can bring out, I'm gonna debunk it. Like before we even get to the debate. Therefore, right, you don't have any foundation to stand on. Nothing.
Wow,
Zero.
that's fun. That's funny, man. That they would use any of that stuff. Because even if they did use any
Shit
of that,
crazy.
it's they all citizens, meaning they subject to the United States of America, which is like you was just saying, the British rule. Us as indigenous people, we didn't come under that. We came before all of that. So again, where did the this three
It,
fifth compromise come
yeah.
from? That's just funny, man.
You want to know? Okay. I got you. I'm gonna get into it then. Fuck it, because it's an interesting question. You know, I don't think that they know where did they get the 3/5 human clause from. Where did that conversation come from? Because it has nothing to do with the 3/5 human. I mean, the 3/5 compromise. The 3/5 human clause has nothing to do with the 3/5 compromise. You understand what I'm saying? It's like somebody made that up. So we're gonna get into the 3/5 compromise real fast, yeah. Hold on a second.
Hey, Chief, I talked to a real African today too at work, man.
Go ahead, man. Tell us what he said.
Man, he said that first of all, he said he had a tribe, but he was called. The reason why he said he called himself African because he did come over here. He knew he was nationalized, but he wasn't naturalized. So he did understand the difference. But his question was, why does why do black people call themselves African? So of course I had to break some things down to him, and he was like, "Oh, because his question was, now he worked at the airport, and he wanted to drive transit, and he was like, well, I can't do." I said, "Why not?" He said, "Because my he was like, no, he said he had a social security number." And I said, well, I asked him, I said, well, are you naturalized or are you nationalized? I said, were you born here? He was like, no. So I was like, you're nationalized. He was like, yeah, I have a social security to work and do a visa and everything. I said, yeah, that's what that's for. So I said, you can work any anywhere in the United States as long as you have that, your visa is valid. So he was like, cool, cool, cool. And but yeah, so we got into the history or whatnot, and he was telling me about his tribe, but he said over there they teach that the black people over here are slaves and they came from over there. So we got to talking, and I was asking him. I said, "So do you believe that they had boats that went across the Atlantic?" And he was like, "No." I said, "Well, what type of sea is that?" He was like, "That's a bad sea. That can't happen." And I said, "Well, if it didn't make sense, why do you believe it?" He was like, "No, I don't believe it." He said, "That's the point. When we get here, we don't understand why they tell these stories this way because it don't make sense." And this is not the only African. I come across a lot of them coming from the airport because I do transit, and it's the same story. It's always the same story. Always. But go ahead, Chief.
I mean, it's always interesting, man. Like I said, it's no so-called Africans in the so-called Pan-African community. I think that's a travesty. You know, you know what I mean? You know, and it's just super disrespectful to even their own ancestors. I don't think that they understand that. Like everybody's telling them this. There's nobody telling them, even on the continent over there, that they from there, that you are part of their tribes. That and it's always a word that I'm hearing brother Reggie talk about. He talks about indigenous all the time. I'm like, indigenous to Africa. Well, that's the conversation I'm gonna ask him. Are you indigenous to Africa, brother Reggie? Jabari, are you indigenous to Africa? And they're gonna have to say no
Well,
if they
Chief, dig
understand what
this.
indigenous is, brother. It's
Dig
crazy.
this. He even understood that he was indigenous and aboriginal to his land, and he didn't get crazy with it. He was like, I was like, so you understand that you are. I said, you can't be aboriginal to this land. He said, yes, I know. I'm aboriginal to my land. I'm indigenous to my land. He was more interested in being indigenous on his land and get into his genealogy, because he asked me, about genealogy, and he was saying something about how the stuff went through the men. I said, well, let me ask you a question. I said, who birthed you, your pops or your moms? And he was like, well, first he said pops because he was thinking of the whole marriage thing. I said, no, well, who birthed you, who had you? He was like, oh no, my mom's. I said, okay, now whether you're a man, male or female, I said you come from your mother. And I said, everybody has a belly button, correct? He said, yeah. I said, okay, that means they come from a woman. So I said, and your mother has a mother who has a mother who has a mother. I said, that's called lineage. It's an unbroken line. It, and I said, he said, oh, okay. And I said, she said, what about my father? I said, well, your father has a mother, correct? Don't forget. Remember, a woman can have a male or a female. He said, yes. I said, then you traced your family through your father's mother. She has a mother, she has a mother, she has a mother. And you do the same for just any male, period. They have a mother. So I said, you can trace your lineage. That's genealogy. So you can't do it with DNA. And of course, he asked that. And I said, no, that's a theory. You know, I said, it's only a theory. I just didn't really want to get into it with him with that. But yeah, man, he didn't get caught up on it. He understood it right away that he was aboriginal to his land, the landmass. I know I did ask him about it being called Barbaria. He said he wasn't sure about that. He said he'd ask me, he'd ask about it, and he'd get back with me on that. But he said as far as he's concerned, he know it. They call it Africa over there. But it seems like they brainwash them over there just as well as they do our people over here. But we not slow. We see these words, and one I had him read the etymology of Africa, and showed him that Africa wasn't a continent. It's called a continent. It's believed to be a continent today, but it's not. And his eyes got so big when I showed him that, man. He was like, wow. So again, I don't see why all these dudes who do all this reading, do all this studying, can't get the simple things and put them in its proper context and perspective. That's not to take away if people study, just you can study all you want, but you could be studying in the wrong direction as well. So there's that. But I just think it's interesting that somebody can catch on just that quick. I mean, I was only talking to this brother for like 15 minutes and he got it. And he was more interested, and not in a disrespectful way, but he just wanted to know more about how he was able to use this information to his benefit when he go home, because he understood that he's indigenous to his landmass, and he knew that his melanin was important. And that was his connection with us. He was like, so if we are the indigenous people, he was like, why do they teach things this way? Why don't they teach this in school? I say, I'd never teach it to you. Because if you truly understand who you were and the power that you have, and to work with your brother, that's detrimental to a lot of people. So yeah, that is interesting that somebody can catch on that quick. And then you got these guys who go back and debate, and that's where we get into this whole thing where, when people get called agents and stuff like that, you can't think but to help, and ask that question. What really is these people agendas when it comes to them so-called teaching this history, or so-called even law? Because law has a place too as well, and law is specific. And like you was just saying, Chief, all this British stuff ain't American. So why do we follow it? You still there, Chief?
Yeah, I'm here, bro. Well,
Yeah, I'm here. Peace.
I'm trying to figure out if Sister Renee is going to still be talking about 3/5 human claws.
You being compromised?
3/5 human claws. I guess you just said it the other day, bro. I'm like, yeah, what is going on? Like these people literally are pushing this agenda down our throats, and they don't understand it. You know what I'm saying? They really don't understand what they're doing, bro. I really
3/5 compromise. They turned
3/5
the
human claws. Nigga, you is 3/5 human, bro. How does it feel to be 3/5 human, brother? How does that mean? What is think about that.
A human ain't even what we want to be anyway, neither. That's another whole nother conversation. But
but you 3/5 of whatever. You 3/5 of something. How, Sway? How are you 3/5?
I don't know, man. I don't know how she gonna explain that, man. I don't know how she gonna.
What? Oh, I know where she got it from. She got it from African American Studies. And see, y'all think I'm tripping. Oh, I'm not tripping. You literally got that from African American Studies. Literally. And anybody that went to African American Studies, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's what they taught us in African American Studies, that the black man was 3/5 human, and it came from. Oh, I'm about to get into it, y'all. Like, I'm gonna tell y'all asses up.
So when is this debate supposed to be?
Never, but it's supposed to be April, brother. I think it should be on April Fool's Day.
That's too long, man. I mean, I think I heard somebody say we need to talk about this now. We need to move this up because I mean, she gotta explain that, man. She gotta explain that, and if she can't, somebody explain because that's always been my question. Where do they get that from?
She's not gonna be able to explain where she got the 3/5 human claws from, bro. She's gonna be like, well, I got it in.
Like you said, she gonna have to say her African American studies led her to that hypothesis or that theory. But we got some facts for it though, right? And in a historical document that was developed by our people, so I'm pretty sure we didn't call ourselves less of a human, let alone a human. I don't know. Somebody got some explaining to do.
She got some niggas explaining to do? Okay. All right. Now, she should know this. But it's called a 3/5 compromise, my brother. Now, it says, right, that the 3/5 compromise was a compromise reached among state delegates during the 1787 United States Constitutional Convention. Stop right there. How many states did they have in 1787, brother?
Not many, I know that. But what I do know is that it was based on the population. What I do know is that that count was based on citizenship. What I do know, the law for the citizenship is in Article 1, Section 2, Clause 3, which have some similar phrasing, but not quite human or compromise. Would I be correct in that?
Well, you're correct, and there's not that many states in 1787. Okay? So, I don't know if they had 13 or 14 at the time. Well, we know that there were 13 colonies. Okay? Once they so-called got their independence from, we got our independence from Britain, right? Now we coming up, well, are we going back to our government that we already had? Remember, George Washington, right, was a general. Well, who was his commander in chief? Who gave him his orders? You know, I never talk about this. They always like, oh yeah, George Washington, da, da, da. And they push these whole concepts. Oh, well, 1787 or whatever, Constitution of Congress or whatever. Okay, it says whether and if so, how slaves, right, will be counted when determining a state's total population for legislative representation and taxing purposes was important, as this population number would then be used to determine the number of seats that the state would have in the United States House of Representatives for the next 10 years. The compromise solution was to count 3 out of every 5 slaves as people for this purpose. Its effect was to give the southern states a third more seats in Congress and a third more electoral votes than if slaves had been ignored, but fewer than if slaves and free people had been counted equally. The compromise was proposed by Delegate James Wilson and second by Charles Pinckney on June 11, 1787. Now, Charles Pinckney is an interesting character, whatever, because, when they say these names, they just always put stuff out there like, that we didn't have anything to do with some of these laws, right? Now, did you hear black? Did you hear African? Did you hear white? No, you heard slave, and once again, slave is defined in a lot of different ways, and I've told you guys this from apprenticeship to indentured servitude to employment. They can use slave. Okay, so When we're talking about the three-fifths compromise, it has nothing. It's like, okay, you got 5 slaves, no matter what color it is, no matter who's the master, right? You're only counting, right, 3 of them for seats in the you know what I'm saying, in Congress and stuff like that or whatever. Because y'all now they're gonna say that this was us because guess what? We overwhelmingly were the majority. So they said, okay, well the compromise would be okay. You can only count 3/5 of your employees, your servants, you know what I'm saying? Like they're giving you understand what I'm saying? Y'all say it has nothing to do with being a 3/5 of a human. It has nothing to do with color. And they like to push this on our people. This is the 3/5 human clause right here. It's called a 3/5 compromise.
So
Has nothing to do with being 3/5 of a human at
wouldn't
all.
that mean they trying to count their citizenship, right? This is where the census come from, correct?
Nah, they're just counting. Right? This happened before the census. So this just counting. This just a compromise for votes. Now you gotta keep in mind, this is 1787. So this is damn near 100 years before the goddamn Civil War. So who are you compromising with? Niggas. Like, come on, y'all. Like, it was more of us to them, y'all. Like, they didn't want us. Y'all got to keep in mind, this is before who was in charge, who was the landowners in 1787, and not only in the 13 colonies, but also in Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, which wasn't a part of the 13 colonies at the time. We got to talk about it. Who was in charge? See, they want to tell you this dumb shit. No. 1787, from 1787 to 1808. You had to bring a whole bunch of slaves from Africa in this motherfucker. You did not. Stop it. Stop fucking lying.
Not only that, Chief, I want to read the first census law right after the Constitution was implemented. And read similar. Chapter 2, Act providing for the enumeration of the following of inhabitants of the United States. Okay. Section 1. Be it enacted by the Senate and the House of Representatives of the United States of America in Congress assembled, that the marshals of several districts of the United States shall be, and they are hereby authorized and required to cause the number of the inhabitants within their respective districts to be taken, meaning a jurisdiction, omitting in such enumerations Indians not taxed, meaning that they didn't include Indians, meaning they had their own jurisdiction, and distinguishing free persons, comma, including those bound to a service for a term of years, contracts, indentures, from all others. Then it says distinguishing also the sexes and colors of free persons, comma, and the free males of 16 years old and upwards from the under that age, for effecting which purpose the marshals have the power to appoint as many assistants within their respective districts as to them shall appear necessary. So I'm not seeing anything about black and African slaves or any of that. That's the first census law. And this came from what's written in the Constitution, which is Article 1, Section 2, Clause 3, which is the guidelines for the census law. So I don't know where this compromise come from. Wasn't nothing to compromise if they didn't write it. There wasn't nothing to compromise if they didn't develop it. They didn't just come over here and set up shop like how they wanted to, like people want to believe. And what did happen, they was given a jurisdiction for a certain purpose. So I'm finding it hard to understand this compromise thing. I'm finding it hard to understand this slave thing. And I'm also finding it hard to understand this 3/5 of a person. Because these are documents that's written in law by Congress assembled. I, somebody please explain to me. I mean, unless I read that wrong, unless I read the Constitution wrong, somebody help me out.
I mean, it don't even really be about reading it wrong, bro. It's really about the interpretation. Like I said, she's interpreting 3/5 human because she interprets herself as a slave only. It has nothing to do. Like I said, slavery could be perceived differently by the color of people's skin. She doesn't see pale people, Caucasian people, aka white people, as slaves ever. Chattel slavery. Then she'll move it to chattel when I can clearly show you chattel slavery all the way to 1888. We've done this. So once again, I don't think there's going to be a debate. You asked me what's going to be a debate. I really don't think there's going to be a debate. What is she going to debate? She's not going to debate whether or not we was here first, which means that we the first inhabitants of this land, the indigenous aborigine Autanchans of America, right? Nobody else can claim that. No imaginary niggas skating across a imaginary ice land. No, nothing. Nobody can do this. Nobody can discredit us because we have the actual science, right, on our side. We're done. So my whole thing is I'm gonna debunk slavery. That's my whole thing, man, to be able to debunk slavery, debunk this whole thing even before we get to the debate. She's never gonna be able to use 3/5 human clause in a conversation ever again. If she does, we're gonna be like, hey, look, it's got a 3/5 compromise. There's no such thing as 3/5 humans. So that's a whole nother thing that you've been debunked on, Sister Renee. And I know you watching. So yeah. So I've been over there twice. You need to come over here so we can get it in, you know. I suggest don't look at the chat room and just, focus on getting snookered. You know what I'm talking about? I don't know what else to say, yo. I really don't. At this point, this is the person that believes in the 3/5 human clause. So that means that you're pushing a loser's agenda because there's no way you can even find this thing. And that's what I'm gonna prove. So I'm like, damn, every week he's gonna come out with something to take that she can't use against me. I never said that slavery never existed. See how that worked? I never said that. I said slavery's fake. And then we can go from how you want to see it and how you want to talk about it. Oh, only black people were slaves. Okay, I got you. So black is a social construct, is a color. So now we get back to that. Okay, well, it says right here, black is pale, black is bleached. You're penny. You're not pale. You're not bleached. See what I'm saying? So when we start getting into the origin of words and stuff, we're gonna have to start being honest. So if you believe that you're not pale or bleached, or even if you just look at the color black, you know that you're not black. You know that that's a part of a social political construct. Okay, it's like, oh well, you can't be on the Monopoly board. You gotta go over here on a raggedy black Monopoly board. That's how this works. And you get the leftover houses. You get the leftover motherfucking money in the bank. Niggas be taking money out your bank, putting it in their bank. You know what I mean? Niggas can't even roll because they ain't got no. You go across gold to collect your $50, right? See how this works? They can't even pay you. They gotta be like, give you an IOU. Every other road, nigga, you go to jail. Like, come on, y'all. Like, is this real? And this is the whole mindset that the Yvette Carnells, the Sister Renee's, the Tariq Nasheeds, the Umar Johnson, this is the whole loser ass fucking mentality that they push on our people, y'all. They push the 3/5 human clause on our fucking people. And they can never even pull out a documentation said, right here says that your black ass and all your motherfucking ancestors came off a goddamn boat. They can't even pull up these goddamn documents, bro. I think it's very, very it's treasonous. Hey, y'all are treasonous. You think you're gonna debate? How you gonna debate? How? What do you have to debate? Nothing. You have not one single, bro, no point that you can bring to the table that's gonna make me do anything. That's why I be like talking like, yo, I'm past. There's nothing. I could do pootie pie and beat you. Don't even say shit. See how this work? You'll beat yourself. Fuck out of here. Told motherfuckers, man, like this is crazy. I'm just, you know, just can't believe this shit even challenged me. It's crazy. So yeah, I'm that guy. Anybody can hit that link right now and get this work. Niggas be talking like, what? Talk about what? What are you talking about? What are you gonna be able to prove? You're gonna pull out a book to prove another book. And then you black Power Rangers have the nerve to be talking about, well, I need some white sources. I'm done. I'm always gonna embarrass you every time that you say that out your mouth. I'm gonna prove to you that Umar Johnson is a white elitist. He's pushing white universities by talking black and living white, thinking white. Come on, bro. Like, come on, man. Like, just fuck niggas, man. And I ain't even one of this type of niggas. I don't even hate. Like, definitely, don't ever put me in no category of hating no nigga. Fuck out of here. But we got to make a stance as men to say, no, son, daughters, this is not the way to be. Niggas act like this. We have a responsibility. No nigga should be mink sliding no motherfucking where. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. Y'all say, nah, B. I seen it just like you seen it. Fuck out of here. Soft ass niggas. Be acting like you niggas is soft. We shout out to the ancestor Robert F. Williams, man. You know what I'm saying? When he was in the church, and then he knew that he seen the pastor because he worked at a law firm coming into the law firm to pick up a check because he was one of them fuck niggas that was taking checks, right? From the beer and liquor to push on the people, which that was the crack of the time. Now these motherfucking you niggas ain't trying to get no motherfucking reparation from these Seagrams or Jack Daniels or nobody. You niggas ain't trying to get none of that. You niggas worry about the wrong shit. Look how many people in your family got destroyed or how much land we lost because niggas was fucking with that firewater. Niggas can get pour some hot coffee on them at Walmart, at motherfucking McDonald's and get lawsuits. Niggas, like, we can actually say, hey, well, liquor did this last year. I had a cousin or uncle or brother or daddy. Somebody died. Somebody was affected by liquor, whether it was through health or whatever, you know, through diabetes and everything else or whatever. So we can absolutely say, boom, right here. This multi-billion-dollar corporation, they've been around for 98 years. This is what they did to us, right? Nah, you niggas worried about civil. Like, they never have no plan to get not $1 for so-called reparation. I say restitution. Reparations just sound so weak to me. Submit. I let you dominate me. Give me reparations. Nah, nigga, it's a crime. That's what you did. Give me that money. You owe this. Like, we shouldn't even have to go to court. Some people are like, what are you talking about? I'm like, what are you talking about? Why are you talking so weak? Why are you ever talking about the dominant society dominates me every night in my dreams? In your dreams, nigga? So in your dreams, you dominated by another man. Fuck out of here, nigga. You shouldn't even be in front of people, let alone talking about being leaders for people. Motherfuckers, God damn it. These niggas are arguing about who's not a goddamn leader. Get the fuck up. You're not a leader to tell who's not a fucking leader. Fuck is wrong with you? That's prerequisite number one. Niggas is crazy as hell. Yo, no, you're not gonna tell me this. Yo, like, okay, yeah, you want to be a principal, right? It should be prerequisites that you have children, right? A family, you know, that you've been managing for some years. Niggas say, oh yeah, he has a 13-year, yeah, children, he's been around. Not like, nah, B. You mean to tell me that Polite is a better family manager than you, nigga? And you wanna? I'd rather send my children to his school than your goddamn school, you dumbass. Niggas is dumb. And y'all act like I'm tripping because I gotta speak on it. I shouldn't have to. The people should have been rejected this dumbass shit. Fuck, I gotta speak on it for. I gotta be the one to tell you. Well, I gotta be one to stand down the limb or take the shots or be the one to raise my hand in the church like Robert F. Williams. I'm gonna do it every month. I ain't gonna be in the fucking church, but goddamn it, if I see some wrong, I'm speaking on it. Nigga, I'd have been put your ass out when you came to get the goddamn check in the first place. But definitely you sitting there like, how dare you motherfuckers, you testing these men manhood, whether or not you gonna stand up and nigga, I'm gonna stand up. Niggas online and you niggas is cowards to even say something in the fucking chat room. That's how much of a coward, let alone to come on a platform and speak on something that you really feel in your heart. Fuck out of here, man. You some cowards, man. You niggas don't even get in my way. Like, what are you talking about? For real? You in the way? All right. That makes no sense to me. When I hear it, I'm not, Jay, I'm not going to understand. I have no understanding for fuck niggas no more. Soon when we walk in the door, we're going to be trying to fight. Cause I'm trying to figure out why this fuck nigga even in the goddamn room with us. Why is he here? Before we even have meeting, niggas fighting. Why is this dude in this room right now? Y'all ain't got enough? He ain't wore enough wires for y'all? Nah? No? Okay, I got you. He gonna get up out of here. Who brought him here? You gotta go too. Fuck out of here, man. You nigga, this is y'all problem. This is the problem right here. That we never gonna get nowhere or whatever. And then we turn around and say, oh man, the youth is doing this, doing that. What are you guys gonna do to stop them? Help them. What type of economic anything did the generation before us leave for us? Nah, they was like, go get a job, go to college, go be a Cosby kid. Get the fuck out of here. Go be submitted, nigga. Go wear your pants hiked up your butt, up your back. Fuck out of here. That's why these youngsters be like, kiss their ass. Hey, Jay, they had their whole ass hanging out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Fuck.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hey, have you ever looked up the definition of reparations?
Of course.
The loser have to pay reparations. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah. Vaguely.
The loser in the war.
Break it down, man. What do you mean? The niggas be paying reparations through they taxes and shit.
Yeah. The loser of a war has to pay reparations for all the damages and stuff.
Well, wouldn't that make sense though? Wouldn't that make sense? Like you won.
Makes sense.
Right. Yeah. Like you won, right?
Like, yeah, y'all gotta pay for all this shit that y'all fucked up over here. Yeah, that's what reparations is.
Yo. Hey. Oh man. Hey, those some motherfuckers, man. You know we fucked y'all up, right? So I'm gonna need y'all to pay us reparations to help fix y'all.
Well, I mean, but that's what everybody keep asking for, reparations.
Yeah, you losers. Hey, but it goes back to what I was saying though. Niggas is losers. Niggas want to always like, come on. You're gonna think you're gonna come over and debate. You're already in a loser's bracket. You're already losing. See what I'm saying? So only goes to show that motherfuckers want to attach themselves to losers every time. This is not what you think. I'm not playing. I am literally in these books. I'm literally like, this is nothing. Like it's easy. Like it's just a 3/5 compromise. You're never gonna be able to find a 3/5 human clause nowhere. No matter, even if you try to spin what I just read, right, to fit a black African slave narrative, that's on you. The people be able to see that you inserted yourself into losery, into a slave narrative. You put yourself and your family into dishonor. Y'all understand what I'm saying? I don't think y'all really understand what you're doing, what you're doing. Nah, grandma don't know what the fuck she talking about because she didn't read 10,000 dumbass books. And she didn't sit down to pee, or my grandfather didn't sit down to pee like your dumbass did. You went to school to sit. They taught you how to sit down and pee, nigga. And you had the nerve to be talking like, yo, this is nothing. Like, you neutered. You niggas is, was it spayed for the dog or neutered for the boy? I don't give a fuck. You spayed and neutered ass niggas got a nerve to be talking. I'm like, yo, this is crazy as fuck. Why is he talking? Why do you got this niggas whose nuts is not even tucked? They not there. He never was born with any, ever. Like, how is he speaking for us? And that's what pisses me off. And that's the only reason why I came out like, yo, I can't let these people do this. I'm private. I'd rather teach in the private, in the streets, and with the people. That shit shouldn't be televised. We shouldn't be doing all this. You know what I'm saying? But they got these people running out here calling themselves leaders, and of what? Of who? How is your information helping our people? That was the question that Captain Desario asked these fools, and they didn't have an answer for that. Nothing that they're teaching helps our people ever. And hype up WWE fucking wrestling match or whatever. That's business. I get it. That's cool. But this over here is MMA. You know what I'm saying? This is not the same. Remember Brock Lesnar went from WWE to MMA, was getting his ass handed to him quickly, like tapped out quick. That's what this is. This is not what you think. This is John's Bones Jones, man. Like this is real. You niggas is not scripted. This is not scripted. I'm telling you. Renee just keep running in here. Like she motherfucking Heather McMahon.
Ric Flair.
Man, this is not what you think. They're gonna be like, man, you abusive. So I'm not playing with y'all. I'm about to hit none of that. Y'all been here. This has been going on for too goddamn long. Like for people to be so no, y'all cannot be this smart and tell me that you can look in the mirror and say that you really believe what you just said out your mouth. That was shit. I just can't believe that people say what they say. No, white people weren't chattel slaves. I just think that's interesting. I really do.
I mean, it's so simple all around, man. You either Aboriginal or a slave. Which one would you rather be out of those two?
I mean, like that's just that's not even you know what I mean? You
It's
feel me?
simple.
Like it's not even on the same wavelength. Like when we say certain stuff, like our conversations are totally different.
What about indigenous or citizen?
I mean, it sounds better. Like come on. Before they even created a citizen, nigga, we was already here. So yeah,
That's
of
what I'm
course.
saying. Aboriginal, indigenous is take you to the land.
Yeah, tax you the power. We've already broke down years ago what the whole strategic, social, political, economic plan was. What the fuck? How about this? What's your plan? Crickets. It's gonna always be crickets because you can't go back to uh, Dr. Neely Fuller Jr. You can't go back to motherfucking Blueprint for Black America. So that's all they do is redust it off and come out with their own little plan. And they know I know, so they like I know the Black City Plan, Reggie. Right? You know I read that. And Garfield know I read his 9-point plan. Y'all know I read these things. I interviewed you guys on years ago. So they know and it wasn't about nothing about those plans. And so with the good stuff that came out of them, and I didn't really see any negatives because they were doing exactly what was already in plans that came before them that never got implemented with the people. Y'all see how this work? You can have dope plans 20, 30 years in the making or here's what it is. But nobody's never even making one step forward to put any of those plans, Blueprint for Black America or the 9-point city plan or the Black City Plan, any of these things, if you're not going to put what it takes and have a people moving in that direction together, one guy could say it and want to do it or whatever, but it takes a whole group of them. And I just don't think that the whole wave is that. It's only entertainment, which is cool. Information has to be entertaining at some point for people to digest it. So yeah. What do you think about that, Jay?
Man, well, they gotta start doing that shit elsewhere, man, because that shit played out, man. We had enough that entertainment. You know, we got to start making some moves, man. That's what I think about it. Like you said, that shit played out, man. The slavery shit played out. That 3/5 compromise shit played out. It's just played out, man. Being black, it's played out. I don't care what nobody says. It's just played out. If I'm gonna be any color, I'm gonna be the color that I look like, if I so choose to. So yeah, man, we just moving forward.
I mean, that's
The
the ready to
conversation.
move, man. Really?
That's another conversation we gotta really start being serious with. Some people, you say it all the time, they slow. Just gotta start leaving them behind, man.
I I mean, I think niggas' egos is not they. I mean, I don't even understand it, man. Like every time that you have a conversation with somebody that's supposed to be an intellectual conversation, and if they drop kick you every time, like you should go back to the drawing board. Okay, how are you getting beat? Why are you getting beat? Oh, you used the word, right? Oh, you thought about this. You didn't do any research, right? Listen, debate 101 is right that you know your opponent's information better than them. That's debate 101. So, in saying that, um, yeah, man, I don't know, like I said, I'm Kunta right now. Like I'm I'm digging deep, y'all.
I don't know, man. I guess I mean, maybe I guess you gotta keep going in on that 3/5 thing. I mean, maybe you can help her out.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Who's that in the building?
Lewis
We got to
Jones.
Lewis. What's up, man?
Yeah, how have you been? Sorry, I'm a bit under the weather, but
Yeah,
yeah.
man, that's been going around, man. Y'all better be careful out there.
Oh yeah. Well,
Peace
crazy
to you, though,
virus.
Lewis, man. How you doing, brother?
Yeah, pretty good, pretty good. I always like what you guys do, and it's interesting. When
What's been going around?
with a brother over here, mentioned about the definition for Webster's, definition for the reparations.
Chief,
I
what's
was
that been
curious,
going around?
the corona and stuff. I don't have that, but a lot of my friends and whatnot are getting sick. Wait, did I hear wrong? Hello, guys?
Yeah, yeah, no.
Okay,
You got the floor.
okay, my bad. Okay. So the interesting thing about when the brother was sitting up here saying, oh, the definition for reparations, right? So I go and look it up, and lo and behold, the bro's right. It's
I see
I
Lewis.
used
Is he talking? I can't see if he talking or not. I see him in the video.
you can see me.
Oh no, that's
Okay. So, anyways, the bro was right.
Can you hear him?
Yeah, I can hear you guys.
no. He not in. That's you, Chief.
No. That's him, man. He just got Supreme Chief on this thing. That's not me.
Oh,
Huh.
okay.
Oh. Okay. Okay.
Well, no, I see he did put the definition of reparations in there. Let's see that up. That
Yeah,
was
he
Yeah,
said
yeah.
that you're right about that. Go ahead, Lewis.
Yes. I fact checked that with
yeah.
the
He got to
Miriam.
if you got like when you use StreamYard, you gotta have a regular mic. You can't use a Bluetooth. It ain't gonna
Oh.
connect your sound.
Oh, so you guys can't hear me?
Cause I see him talking, but I
I
can't
can
hear
hear
him.
you. He can't hear you. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, you might have to go out and come back in real
I have
quick.
to go out and come back in.
Yeah, go out and come right back in.
I don't have a Bluetooth right now. Does that matter?
No.
Okay, I'll leave. Give me a sec.
Yeah, EJ gonna leave and come back. I could hear him good, but you couldn't hear him. He said that he had fact checked you because he thought you was tripping, but it came out that what you were saying was factual. But a lot of times, man, people don't don't fact check shit.
Can you hear me
Lewis,
now?
Jay, can you hear him?
I don't think you can.
I can't hear him now. Hey, Lewis, go ahead, man. He might have to go out and come back in. He can't hear nothing.
It says Jay's mic is off. It has a little X across the mic, little icon, the little slash.
Yeah.
Oh, it's on. Jay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, my apologies to Jay for not being able to hear me. As long as you can hear me, I guess. But no, Jay's right. Like you said, that people don't fact check shit. Funny thing is, I kind of thinking about the last time I was on the stream for a little bit. Which was what was that, like a week ago or so. But the interesting thing about that was that yeah, when we were talking about the whole slave trade thing, I was debating this I guess this forgot his name, but he a lot of these troll channels that pop up and whatnot. Um, One interesting thing is they like to really reference slavevoyages.org. Dane Calloway did a beautiful video on one of them on that slavevoyages.org when he mentioned that they don't it says slaves, but they don't mention exactly which ethnic background or whatnot. Then when you look up the term African or the word African, it was created by European. Um, so when people are going to sit up here and say I'm African, wait, so you're going to complain about the so-called white man's labels, but yet you're going to ignorantly label yourself with a white man's label. Um, you know, that really doesn't make sense to me. Stockholm syndrome is real with people. Uh, but regardless of that, no, you guys are doing a great job. I feel that even I don't have much to say because you guys have done so many videos and you guys have already got this long packed down. At this time, the people who just disagree with you guys or they're just disagreeing out of their own what is it called? What Stockholm syndrome, their own what you call it, mental illness. At this time, that's all it is. These individuals have mental illnesses and they can't let go. That's where we're at this time. If people have been watching this channel and people have seen all the information, if you can legitimately see something, see a freaking tangible evidence, and you're gonna still sit up there and blab your mouth and just shove it aside and not question it, what good are you? That is not intelligence. Intelligence is being able to take everything into consideration. Just because you take everything into consideration doesn't mean you have to believe everything you take into consideration. What you must do is wholeheartedly fact check it. If you can't do that, then you're worthless. You're a waste of space, in my opinion. If you're going to sit up there again and see tangible evidence and not show anything, because you disagree, you're just going to use your words, and you expect everyone to believe what you say without you backing up your words, with actual tangible evidence. We're talking about what the 1400. 15, 16, 17, 1800s documents. They didn't have DNA back then. It was all by oral. It was oral and paintings and whatnot. So if they didn't have these fake ass DNA tests, how are you gonna? It's like how are you gonna sit up there and say, "Oh, I could spit in a tube," and trace your ancestry back, not counting that people move, and not counting that they didn't even have those tests back then. It would make more sense if they had those tests back then. They don't. You cannot connect spit in the tube DNA tests with oral history and paintings and whatnot. Listen, I'm an artist. I do a lot of anime. I do a lot of cars. I make my own stuff. I decided to get myself copyrighted because I didn't want people to take my shit. Um, but as me
Word. That's what's up, Lewis.
me as being an artist, I am and me as being a car and vehicle enthusiast, I can tell you from just my enthusiasm of vehicles. No way are you gonna sit up there and take a damn wooden boat across the across the ocean like that. You're gonna get wood rot. They didn't even take care of themselves. The so-called Europeans didn't even. They weren't even healthy. You know. Then yeah, people it's like here's the thing. I talk to my friends about this all the time, and random people. I'm a people's person, in my opinion. I share you guys' videos. I share Alexis. I share Dane's. To me, here's the thing. Though we may have our disagreements, I'm not talking about me and you. I'm just talking about whoever this applies to, that are doing these YouTube videos. Everyone has their disagreement. The thing is, when it comes to you guys, Lex, Will, Medicine Man, whoever, whatever is like you guys bring pertinent to information. You know, that's my opinion. You guys do a beautiful job. It's like we are so far back on history. We've been taught bogusness so far. I think people are afraid that they're wasting their time. You know, they they've gone throughout their years in the school system, and they're like, oh, I put all my time into this, I got these degrees, yada yada yada, in history and whatnot. Oh, if it's a lie, I wasted my time. You know how that would feel, right? I mean, that would suck, right? um so here's the flip side of the coin. It's not a waste of time to learn all these lies. It's a waste of time if you learn all these lies and you don't have the truth. If you never gain the truth, because you got to know the lies and you got to know the truth to differentiate the lies. You have to know both sides. You know, it's not a waste of time to learn all this stuff, even though it's a lie. If you have the truth, you need to know both sides. You need to know again how to defeat the lies. You got to know the ins and outs, like a battlefield. You got to know your enemy to defeat your enemy. Um, Again, you guys do great work. I seriously don't have a whole lot to say. You guys covered a great deal of the history. I'm very grateful for what you guys have done. Again, I have been looking at some of your guys' videos for the whole,
Hey,
how
Lewis,
to. Yes, sorry. Go ahead.
I got a real good question for you. Have
Yes,
you
sir.
ever heard of the three-fifth human clause before?
That wait, the 3/5 human clause. That's not the whole like 3/5 of the human thing, right? Where you're like, yeah, I heard. They teach that mess.
Where did you hear the three-fifths human clause at, brother?
Did the Afro American was like 3/5 of a human? That one, right? The I heard that in school.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah, I heard that one in school. I didn't. Yeah. It's that's some Charles Darwin bull crap though. I was never really. I My spirit never really connected with the history they teach in school. First of all, I am one of those individuals who was in the group home system for many years and got out. So again, when it comes to the tracing the ancestry, that's one of the and finding these actual records, that is a bit difficult for me. I'm working on it. I got some help, but it's proving a bit difficult to obtain these documents due to my money issue right now. A little bit too. Yeah, I got my own apartment in place, whatnot, but it's a little difficult. you know, I'm still working at it. I'm not gonna give up. Funny thing is, I was even looking up the name. Even my name, Lewis Jones, right? And I was like, okay, you know how they teach us that? Oh, well, they attempt to teach all of us. Oh, that that the masters gave the slaves their name, right? To strip
Right.
them of their culture. Here's my first name, Lewis, actually means famous warrior. My last name Jones. You can everyone. I encourage everyone to go look up their names, see what their names means. My last name
Facts.
Jones actually means Yahweh has favor. You really think a slave master is going to name their slaves that? famous warrior, and Yahweh has favor. Yeah, well, man. Um, yeah, that's a bit funny, but yeah. Um, yeah, anything you have to say? I'm just running my mouth over here.
Yeah, I mean, it's just always interesting to me, Lewis, man, how they, not only that though, like how they put these narratives out there, like just the whole slave narrative. Oh, you got your name, like our ancestors, or we passed down certain names. Like we would have did that, you know what I'm saying? Like free people. Like we've been free for a while, but they still push the slave narrative, y'all. And I think that's amazing to me how people can still say identify with the slave situation even after 150 years when it's supposed to be over with. You know, how do you explain that, brother? How do you explain that?
Here's the interesting thing. I was actually thinking about this. I was talking to my friend about this, right? Okay, here's a really good analogy. Are you ready? Okay. So imagine, right? You know how people get so upset when their spouse cheats on them or whatnot that at times they even kill. Think about this. What if you thought everything you knew, you were so proud of your culture, right? You were so happy that you were this and you were that, and your ancestors thought that, and your late mother who died thought that, right? And promoted that. You spent all your life and you built all your pride on that. And then imagine if you find out that that's a lie, and that the very same people you were sitting up there bashing and you were saying, oh, you came from Africa or you came from this place, you came from that place. That was really their culture. And the only reason why you even believe that is because the very same system that you got your cards from, that you got your history from, that was doing your DNA test, that was telling you who you are, and giving out the census or whatnot, was the very same system that lied to you. You know how fast this whole country would crumble? The government would at least would immediately lose power. The reason why the lie still is still perpetrated today is because if the truth ever came out about the real history of the Afro American alone, there's many other things. The power structure would immediately crumble. The lie exists to keep people ignorant and to keep this country in power. This country's very same history is toxic to it. It's just, could you imagine if someone ever found out who you truly were, you would be instantly dead. Well, that's the dilemma this country faces. It's gone in so deep that its own history, if it would kill it if it came out. It's basically the final nail in the coffin. Racism exists to basically distract us. As long as we stay fighting, this country stays in power. Like, let's just say this Afro Americans killing Afro Americans and whatever ethnicity takes part in the sinful killing. That gives a government to weave a government the excuse to weave a tighter, weave a spider web. They can say, "Oh, now we need cops on the streets with grenade launchers," and then all they got to do is show our ass fighting and show our ass doing stuff, and the people will go for it. Again, Malcolm X said the media is the most powerful weapon. It can make the innocent look guilty and the guilty innocent. You know what happened to Bill Cosby and all them. Yeah. I asked many people, I'm going to slightly change topics. I asked many people, even about the whole Bill Cosby thing, and when he was convicted, not even of rape, but of sexual assault. It's like, wait, and it was just accusations. How do you get, like, in what court of law do we know that if justice was followed, are you convicted on accusations alone? It's not the fact. I'm not saying that the dude was a good guy like that. I'm just saying that the court procedures the normal court procedures of which we are used to have not been followed, was not followed in that case. You know, I'm not saying that he wasn't greasy in some way or whatnot. Maybe he was. I don't know the guy. I wasn't there, but I know what I seen, and what I seen was the dude wasn't convicted on actual tangible evidence. It was just accusations. How do you do that? How do you convict someone on just accusations and expect to keep your morals and expect to call yourself a good human being who loves injustice, and justice and whatnot? You know, that's my issue. It's like I'm not being biased or anything. I don't care. I don't care about that stuff. You know, I'm not a one-sided dude. I'm just an evidence dude. You know, I was like, if someone makes a claim, they should be able to back it up. Well, they should back it up if they have morals. But hey, the system doesn't have morals, right? Whatever happened to them. But yeah, no. Reason why, reason why racism exists because this country cannot let the people find out what truly happened, cannot let the people know who we are and what we are and how great we are, especially us. Yeah, it would just be detrimental to this system. My thing is, yes, I do believe that these articles are very important, but here's my issue when it comes to this system and the people running it. They are not everyone, okay, but a great deal of people up in there are not for helping us gain our titles, and we all know why. I mean, we all know why. You know, first of all, they don't have the money to actually pay reparations like that. They would literally have to give everything if they were truly, the toll of the damage is way too expensive for them. You know, they would have to give up everything, and that still wouldn't be enough because of the blood of our ancestors, and now tacked on other people. You know, it's a wildfire that got out of control. My thing is, it's like you can't expect a system that is built on violating every aspect of life to be fair with you. How are you going to expect to play fair in an unfair system? Who in their right mind who actually thinks about this stuff is going to think that's going to work out great for anyone? You know, this is an unfair system because unfair people run it. You cannot play fair in an unfair system and expect for things to work out the way you are. You can't play by the rule books when the rule books are unfair and set against you. You know, that's why we're not getting anything. That's one of the reasons why we're not getting anything fixed. And I tell my friends, one thing I've noticed we haven't tried is coming together and staying together. That's our issue. Everyone else, just like these other YouTubers said, they're together and they stay together. We're the only people that are divided, that are broken, that are talking, that are really gossiping about a bunch of vanity. You know, here's my thing. I'm not into this gay thing or whatnot. But my thing is, as long as like those individuals who do that mess, as long as they keep that mess to themselves and not trying to basically push that mess on any child or whatnot, that's on them. You know what I mean?
Hey, yeah, Lewis,
Like,
real quick, not to cut you off, brother, but I want to
yeah,
say happy holiday, happy New Year, happy birthday to my favorite sister-in-law, Miss Mary Jackson Jernigan. Shout out to the Jernigans. Hey, be on the lookout for those Jerjack brand to y'all, man. Like I said, it's peace and love, sis. Have a great night. Shout out to Carvis, shout out to Caitlin. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, man, definitely, man. It's all love, man, over here, man. So peace to the peace to the Jernigans, man. Um, God says good night, happy birthday. Yeah, man. But hey, peace. Like I said, man, peace to all the great ones tuned in, y'all, man. We definitely appreciate it. Um, like I was saying though about this 3/5 human, I couldn't let that go, y'all. I can't. And like I said, even it's your interpretation, how you take stuff. Like I can promise you,
Don't be nasty.
they can still read the same thing I just read or interpret it as being three-fifths of human because of all the other data, like the brother said, that's attached to Darwinism, right? It's attached to the monkey theory and all the other less than things that make you less than, you know what I'm saying, these people. So this is the whole concept. So when you go with the out of Africa hypothesis, you're automatically by default rolling with this theory that you are a loser in the Darwinistic theory of evolutionary chart. This is how this works. This is what they're pushing on you. This is the school system. This is the whole social engineering that's happening, and they use words to do it. This is all we saying. So when you act like you don't know what word spells are happening, and you wanna bury your head in the sand to them, I'm gonna have to remind you that that's the whole point of the whole conversation that we're having. We would not
Yes,
be having these conversations if this wasn't a thing.
exactly. Hey, this is just a thought that just randomly popped in my head on the 3/5 theory. Or you know what's crazy? Just hypothetically, what if that did apply to people who were actually mixed with Neanderthal and all them, and then later was switched to us when the invaders took over everything? What if? Because we all know Neanderthal and stuff ain't human. Well, like that. What if?
Well, see, I don't work in that realm because once again, we're going to pseudo land, right?
Mm.
Old Neanderthal conversation is pseudo. There's no such thing as a Neanderthal person. Like this is like shout out to Lotus, man. We've already broke all this down, man. Like these are these people trying to put themselves in a time period, or put themselves in regions and time periods that they didn't exist. You know what I'm saying? So the story is, y'all remember Angel? Everybody hates Angel, and he just
Oh
remember
yeah,
he had to tear his
that
ass up.
guy.
And no,
One thing.
remember he showed that the Neanderthals supposedly had ran up out of Africa before the humans. So the
Yeah,
Neanderthal was smart enough, or he evolved first and left out of Africa first and went to different places. When modern man left out of there, he went and made love to Neanderthals. This is the story that they're telling. It's no such thing as a Neanderthal. There's no such thing as monkey people, right? The out of
yeah.
Africa hypotheses
One thing,
has
how it
several
happened, I didn't
theories
click
that
with
go
that.
to it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry. Yeah. I didn't click with that. One thing, let's just say hypothetically it did exist, right?
right.
One thing is the human is definitely first, and let's just say, here's my thing. It's like, what if it's not even, like different species of things. I'm just talking about hypothetically. Let's just say the Neanderthal has nothing to do with human, just you know what I mean, like the ape, right? Today, or the gorilla, right? We all know that it's not human, though it somehow has DNA or similarities genetically to human, but it ain't human. You know what I mean? It's an animal. It doesn't. It does it just because it. They here's the thing. They say it has. Um, what is it? Something DNA. Connected to us. Whatever. That's not important. The important thing is it's not human. What if the Neanderthal was just like that, like the apes? You know what I mean? It's not human. It's an animal. It's a what is it? Primate? It's primate, right? Yeah, primate. It's its own thing. You know what I mean? What if the Neanderthal was like that? And how you see people doing nasty things to animals today? Somehow, you got something happened with genetics. When you know what I mean? I don't know. Um, for real. Maybe this whole thing could be one crazy conspiracy that was made up. I'm absolutely open to that too, and it would make sense as well. My thing is because of the individuals who've been telling this story, is an issue, because they lied so much that even if they're telling the truth, it's hard to believe at times. Know what I mean? So no, I'm in no way do I disagree with you. You know, I'm just one of those skeptical individuals. What everything you say is greatly plausible too. You know, it's only because we were told lies by the system do I say this. It has nothing to do with you, bro. I love all the work you guys do. Just have to reiterate that. You guys do excellent work, and as far as I've seen, you're unchallenged. Unmatched, and because you guys bring actual information. I love watching you guys' debate with these trolls or wannabe Pan Africans.
But Lewis, they always say that I never bring any sources. But I do recall the last couple times I went over on Psycho or Renee's channel, right? Like I could go, it's like Jordan going to the Garden. I could still put up 55, 63 in Boston Garden or whatever. It's nothing. You know what I mean? But I'm like, yo, I'm presenting sources, and they never have any sources ever,
Here,
ever, 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 ever,
yeah, no,
ever,
I
ever.
get what you're saying. Here's the thing: there's two
Shit.
things. Either, like you said, they are paid trolls or paid by some government source, or they're so mentally mind effed by I call it slave porn. Okay, I call it slave porn. They want to be a dominatrix so badly, by by the white man, suck on that white man, whatever, hell, people. Not everyone, of course. I'm not ragging or bagging on any individual. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, the individuals who tell the story, and it's the one. If it applies to you, basically, it is. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Let's just keep it that way. But these individuals are so mind effed by the system. They put this belief so close to their heart, cognitive dissonance, we call that even when you put information in front of their face, they're so mentally ill that they can't see it. They can't accept it. When you're so upset, right? You misinterpret things. Has that ever happened to you? Like, you get upset at your friend and you misunderstand, but if you're able to calm down, this is just on anything. If you're able to calm down, you're like, oh, that makes sense. I'm sorry. I've had that happen to me many times. It's that type of thing, but the fact is they can never see it because it's it's their trigger. You know, the realization that a lot of these Afro Americans, Negroes, or whatever are not African triggers their upsetness. The other day, I showed this lady. I talk with her a lot. I showed her the 1800s, that the Afro American was already in Congress, and then and she blew up. Like, she blew her top. She was yelling, "No, no, we're slaves and we came from da 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 da." And it's like you're dishonoring and being very disrespectful to our ancestors. I'm looking at this lady like she's crazy. And that was from me just showing her a few, like one article or one, it was from the archives. It was history arts or something like that, and it was a Black Congress, and it had all their biopics and whatnot. Then when you actually cross reference the time of the Black Congress with the time of the Indian Wars, they were already when the Indian Wars were going on, the Black Congress was already in full effect. So is that where they got the Africans fighting Africans from? That's what I wonder. They call Indians fighting other Indians or Negroes in power that are indigenous to various parts of America. The Congress, Negroes going and ordering slaughter of Indians, other Negroes. Is that what? And then they just called, Africans fighting Africans. That what happened? I wonder. Because at the time of the Indian Wars, there was already, while the Indian Wars were still going on, there was already Afro Americans in power. And we all know how long it takes to become a congressman. So if you look at it, so you can imagine that they were doing other prominent positions long before the 1870s. It takes a long time to become a congressman. Read, write, they have to know how to read and write. They have to know how to run things. Obviously, they didn't just learn these skills immediately. So they were in power long before the 1870s. But hey, we don't like to think for ourselves, right, man? Yeah, I'm being funny. Well, but yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I mean, you hit the nail on the head, though, bro. I mean, people don't even look at the timelines. Okay, all right, fuck all that. Okay, you guys like to point out the 1800s, right? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
cool. 1860s, right?
Mm-hmm.
Civil War and all that. Oh, you guys got set free. Oh, 63 or 65. All these fantastic stories, right? What was going on 100 years in 1765, 1725, 1711? What was going on in America? Who was the British dealing with? They were dealing with the tribes, right? They were dealing with the Chinook. Right, okay, so the Spanish was dealing with certain people in the 1700s. The French was dealing with people in the certain hundreds, right? They were dealing with these different so-called tribes, okay? And they were fighting through us by proxy. French
Mm-hmm.
didn't send armadas over here. He didn't even send them to Haiti. He definitely didn't send them to Louisiana, right? So why are we doing all this magical fighting for them and for their empowerment and stuff like that? Just doesn't make any sense, y'all. Like the conversations just don't make any sense. And remember, war had nothing to do with color. It had something to do with interest,
It was more
terms. Like,
business.
yeah, nigga, we was fighting against each other before these people ever was thought of. That's nothing. We know how to fight. You know what I'm saying? That's what the whole Great Law of Peace was about. That's what the whole Constitution was about. We wrote that 1,000 years. So 700 and some AD, this Constitution was already in effect.
Mm-hmm.
This was already here. So I don't know what they talk about. They like, so that's 1,000 years before this thing that they talking about in the 1700s, which was still written by so-called black people, y'all. They're lying. They're literally whitewashing history. I don't care what nobody say.
Oh yeah. And here's
It's
another
dumb.
interesting. Here's
How would
another.
we how would we be in Congress 100 years later if we wasn't in Congress, right? If we're in Congress after the so-called Civil War, okay, say that 100 years before that, what was we doing? Really? So they sent enough. Hey, come on, y'all, think. Stop letting these people fool you, please.
Absolutely,
Shit
absolutely,
is
bro.
crazy, yo. Super
And you
crazy.
know what's
What's up, man?
interesting too? Sorry, may I say one more? Well, another thing. Um, when it comes, and then if you look at the original like paintings of the European kings and queens and whatnot, what do they call them? Like not the idols. I forgot exactly what they call them, but they're the original paintings of these kings and queens. It's like black. It's like a black Europeans that the British and these museums and whatnot bring up every now and then. And then what is that thing that they have down there in the Europe, where I think it's like once a year these white or these pale face individuals will dress up in full on blackface and wear very royally expensive clothes and dance around and put on fake woolly afros, mocking various Afro Americans or Moors, whoever they are. They're symbolically telling the people, we're just a great deal of us are too shallow minded and too blind to really see it and hear it, and get the message just saying you're the basically the royals that we overthrew, and they're mocking because it's like they don't do that anywhere else. They don't dress in those, I mean, they do. It's like, why is it that only that in Europe they don't really have any other like tradition like that? Where they dress in a specifically expensive, like at that time royal garments, donning a fake afro and black in black face paint. or brown or a very dark chocolate colored face paint, mahogany. I tell my friends it's like, and I show people it's like if you go online and type in mahogany skin people, you're gonna see my skin pop up. Here's the thing. I was talking with my friend about this, and because I was like, I'm an artist, by the way, so I'm going to use my artist pens here. It's like this is a black pen, that a black pen case. That's black. I told them, I was like, compared to this black case in my hand, which is actually black. I was like, for all the ladies and who wear makeup and whatnot, when you're matching your skin tone to these various powders, which is just facial paint. Um, what colors do they say? Guarantee you they don't say no damn black. When you go and look at the names of the powders and whatnot, I guarantee you they don't say no damn black. And if it does say black, I bet you it's for your eyes. Eyeliner, I bet you. I bet you it's not meant to put on your actual forehead or skin unless you're drawing a doodle or something. And to my intrigue that many of them never really thought about that. We are programmed to not think. We are programmed to obey. Well, that's what they attempt. And then when we do gain our mind back, we could become a threat because knowledge is power. And especially for all you artists out there, you are especially a great threat. Here's the thing: people think art is just drawing. It's just making different gadgets and pictures and doodads or whatnot. No, there's much more to art than people realize. When it comes to language, you can use art. When it comes to actually wordplay, manipulation, it's art. Art has to do with anything you create. Doesn't matter what it is. And the system doesn't want the people to find that out. You must have a free mind. You must be able to think for yourself. Again, you got to take everything into consideration. Doesn't mean you have to believe everything you take into consideration. In the ancient times, the first things that I learned, these are from my art teachers that have, and I talk with the dean and elders that are into art. They said in the ancient times, when they would conquer the cities, the first things that they would do is they would gather all the artists, all the philosophers, anyone who could do whatever various of art, either cut their hands off or kill them because they're considered the elite. I mean, if we want to talk spiritual and biblical, it's like this great being we call the creator. The first thing he did was deal, or she, whatever you see the creator as, that's between you and the creator in the end. But it's art. I mean, for crying out loud, this being is called the creator, the progenitor of art. And everything we use from our tools, from our society, was created by art, by using a various technique of art. We don't understand largely the power of art. It's a key, and they don't want you to know this. They don't want you to understand this. All this Freemasonry crap and this stuff in Hollywood, and especially the Alex Haley who plagiarized that damn The Roots. It was art that screwed a lot of people's minds over. It was visual art, visual manipulation that screwed a lot of people's minds over because we are taught to be so vanity, to be so shallow. We do more we do more looking on the outside first than in that we screw ourselves. What the proper way, the proper intellectual way is to look on the inside, then out. Instead of worrying about people's appearance or things' appearance, learn what their inner functions are, and then look out. Because a lot of books will fool you. There's a lot of books that has been mislabeled. We put so much trust in this governmental system that we see a title. We're like, oh, this person has a teacher title. Oh, this person has a cop title. Oh, this person has what medical title. We were so into titles that we neglect the individuals behind these titles. that may not that are not even up that are individuals that are holding up these titles or are not. We either we lump them all together. Like I was let's say I whatever you do not neglect the individuality within people. We must look at the actions and look at the person's mind. The mind is a heart. Not only is this thing called the crown, it's also called the temple. And it's also the last thing that shuts down on the body. The heart is just a pump. What tells that pump to pump? We don't really think about this stuff. This is and when the biblical scripture says, when you say in your heart, you're thinking to yourself. If the mind is truly the last thing to shut down, and you can do a heart transplant, but you can't do a brain transplant. It's a lot. The brain is the heart, but we're so into taking vanity. We swim so shallow minded that we unknowingly throw away a lot of gems, a lot of things that would really help us. I was said morally, we have no
That's
reason
interesting.
to even be charging for food, to be charging for electronics, to be charging for various items because we waste so much of it. So much of this food, so much of this electronic devices goes in the trash. We actually, when we stand in front of the great being, there's no reason to actually be charging for this stuff. All you got to do is go talk to your local retailer. Let's just say, go talk to managers at like stores and whatnot. These grocery marts and whatnot. They'll tell you we waste so much. We are so disconnected from community. We it's like we don't we I don't know. It's like we're just it's sad. There's really no word that I would feel satisfied really to say to label this. It's just too ridiculous. It's just mind boggling. you know we make things so difficult that are yet so simple. Life is simplicity. Albert Einstein said, everyone is born a genius. But if you expect a fish to climb a tree, it's going to grow up thinking its whole life is stupid. What I've taken from that is everyone is born with God given gifts, but we're so damn busy trying to be like the next person, trying to fit in to the next person and what society wants of us that we neglect our own gifts. We never use the talents that the creator made for us. We die with them with those gifts never being used. That's why we don't, especially our community, that's why we don't have geniuses. We have geniuses, but they never wake up. And the ones who do wake up, people are so screwed and people are so selfish that they just get overlooked. Genius is simplicity. And the fact is, actually, if everyone was using their gifts, genius wouldn't even be a thing. It wouldn't be that special. The reason why genius is so special is actually not a good look on humanity. It means all genius means is humanity is not using their gifts. Only a few individuals or very small population is using their God-given gifts that they stand out. It's really that simple. You know, that's what genius is. It's basically mean it's bad if you want to look at the whole picture. It's not good because a few people ain't gonna hold up the dead weight of humanity. We all wake up or we all perish. That's pretty much where we're heading. I mean, look at nature. You know, look at the world around us. It's crumbling. And if we don't stand up and do something and fix it, we may not be here. Yeah, the earth will be here. Life will be here, but we may not. I mean, could we blame the earth for doing what it's doing when we have done what we've done to it? We've thrown so much plastic containers, so much various chemicals. What else could we expect? You know, you know, it's like I'm sure if someone went and punched you, I'm not talking about you. Chief. But if someone went and punched you, aren't you gonna punch them back, or aren't you gonna not want to be around them and not listen to them? I know I would. So it's like we do this to the earth, we do this to nature. Of course, it's gonna f our ass up, and we have no one to blame but ourselves. This is a to fix this. This is a collective endeavor. If we do not collectively come together and work on fixing this stuff, here's the thing: it is what it is. All these people that are here, yeah, we ain't gonna. No one's. We ain't gonna kick them off. What the only thing we can do at this time is really find the ones who are willing to accept the truth and respect the truth and respect who we are and the history and the real history of this country and roll with them. That's where we're at this time. Fight. I mean, we've been fighting for how long, and we look at where it's gotten us. Not enough people are asking, what haven't we done? And one thing I've noticed we haven't done is actually on a collective basis, we have not used our minds to fight like that. It's like we have not used our minds to collectively and wholly come together and stop this. I'm not saying being taken advantage of. I this is something I was thinking even about Martin Luther King. One of the big mistakes he made, in my opinion, is there was no one to fill his spot to keep the movement going. When he got assassinated, there was no one. But hypothetically, if there was 1,000 Martin Luther Kings or millions of Martin Luther Kings, that one could be replaced after the other, you think that his movement would have been a lot more successful? I mean, if you look at all what these leaders had in common, Malcolm X, who else? John F. Kennedy, who else? There was no one to replace them. And then if you look at the crowds or whatnot, it's like we want people to do things for us so badly. We want to sit on our butt and have people carry us that we ultimately are going to end up dropping ourselves in the muck. And that's what we do, because this situation we're in, it is not made to just have a few people or even a couple organizations. It's not that's not the requirement. The requirement is all of us coming together and fixing this. If we do not do that, then we can forget it. The ship's going to go down, and we got to survive, of course. I'm not saying that individuals aren't going to survive. Don't get me wrong on that. But what I'm saying is, a lot of us is going to get wrecked, and we know it. Our guts know it. That what's going on right now, it may be calm in our areas right now, but oh, it's coming. It's like, imagine standing on a cookie and milk, right? And the outsides are slowly and underneath is slowly sogging, right? Eventually, when the sogginess gets to you, you're gonna fall into chaos too, and that's where we're at. Just because it's calm in our areas, these are for all the people who don't really pay attention, who see these news things going on, who see these horrible things happening with the earth and whatnot, and think, well, it's not happening to me. Well, it's not in my area, so I don't have to worry about it. It's at our doorstep. And I'm just saying, don't turn a blind eye to these things. What's going on with this government? What's going on with nature and whatnot? If you're not paying attention, if you get caught with your pants mentally down, you're going to fall. It's all about our mental state. We need to learn to actually keep our mental state. We need to invest in people, invest in life. Your time is your money. That's what we don't realize. It's spiritually. I call it spiritual God bucks. It's literally, if we for the ones who read the Bible and for the ones who talk about the book of life, scream, oh, the book of life this, the book of life that. It is pertaining to life, meaning um, people. If the people are going to be the thing that actually transcends this physical world, everything that returns to the earth is vanity. I mean, if you look at the system, it is set up to basically harm the people, harm life. How do we expect to get a system done, to get things done in a system that doesn't respect life? I'm not talking, but I'm not saying every individual in the system is bad. Absolutely not. But what I'm saying is there's still great functions of this system that is against life. I mean, look at this. If you don't have that dollar bill, you're probably gonna die a brutal death, right? They're gonna treat you less in the hospital. Or if you don't have that dollar bill, aka vanity, Bible calls it mammon, what, you go hungry? How many people die on the street because they don't have the proper dollar bill? They don't have the vanity. It's like it's all about, of course, then where your morals is at. Many people are gonna leave this earth stupid. If you take everything from this school system and this from this culture and not question it and not earnestly search for the truth and really think about what's important, if you're not putting a great deal of your time in life, then you just died stupid. If you don't, if you're taking, let's just say, history classes, right, and all the history classes don't reference the 1800s and way below, and they're just throwing out theories, then and that's all you know, you just died stupid. Again, like ChiefHoliday and anyone and all of them said, if we don't know history, of course we're doomed to repeat it again. But I'm gonna add on: we don't know history and we die, we just died stupid. I was like, how many of you want to die stupidly? The worst thing that could happen is you be wrong, that everything you learned was a lie, but then again, it wasn't a waste of time because you learned the truth. That's what you want to really focus on. You need to know the lie. Knowing the lie is half the battle, but knowing the truth is the whole, and it's the savior of the battle. You know, we need to know the lies. We need to know what the enemy thinks, but we need to know the truth as well. They're both very important. They're both as equally important. You need to have both. You cannot have one without the other. You know, it's the lies. It's like as long as there's good and evil in this world, we will continue to have hardship. We fear hardship. We fear rejection. Because we've been comfortable so long. We cannot be a leader and expect to have it easy. And you cannot be a leader and not love your fellow man and not love and respect truth. A boss sacrifices the people to save the system. A leader sacrifices the system, perhaps even his or her own life to save the people. And that's what people don't realize. Our morals are so effed up, and this is how the system wants it. You know, it's not easy. Just name me one great that did great things for people, like legitimate people, the poor, and legitimately help people that didn't have it hard. You know, we from biblical scripture to now. I don't know anyone who seriously did great things for many people who are poor, who are hurting, who are suffering, that didn't go through some type of bullshit. Look at all these so-called churches. Look at all these so-called leaders. They're all sitting up there in some type of comfort. If you're able to have all this lavish stuff, I was looking at, what is it? Is it SETI? All them, and this is just one of them. These are just the people that come to mind. Look at their background. They have all that expensive stuff. Not saying that they didn't struggle. Okay, yeah, I'm just using them. I'm just using what I see as an example. You know, look at all the leaders who genuinely did something for someone, whether they changed at the end, like Martin Luther King and them, or whether they were struggling and fighting from the get go. They lost everything, and to help us, to help the blind, if you will. And my thing is, are we gonna seriously just sit there and let them go to waste? My thing is like, we can't. It's like we're gonna need to figure out some type of action. And here's the thing: of course, individually cannot be done until people get together, until people seriously start caring about people. Here's the thing: in no way or shape or form do I want violence. That's not my goal. That, I mean, we've been doing, mankind has been doing that for like millennia. and it's gotten us nowhere. All I'm asking for people to do is think outside the box. You know, what other way can you fight and without actually harming life? That's where our utilage of our mind comes in. Our mind is the greatest weapon, you know, but we don't understand the full, capabilities of our mind. It's and even in the medical industry, the mind is still the most mysterious muscle. You know. Sorry. Go ahead. I went off. Sorry about that. Go ahead, man. Hello.
Yeah, I'm here, bro.
Okay.
You going in? But shit, y'all. Um, shit, y'all. It's serious out here, man. Peace to everybody in the chat room, man. I see Big Chief up in there. Peace to the God. Eagle Hawk Condor, OCO. What's we got here? King Ra, Expression Ham, Solo Mac. He said, I didn't know y'all chewed Angel ass up. Yeah, we had to get him. He was saying some real weird stuff too. That shit crazy. But yeah, man, it's a lot. Man. That's definitely what's up. Like I said, I'm gonna put the link back in the chat room, man. Anybody wanna come on? If not, we're gonna shut this thing down, man. Liz, you got anything else you wanna say?
Hey, thanks for all you do, man, and thanks for laying a great deal of the foundation for us, man. I know it wasn't all you, and I know you his thing, and I'd like to say the greats of today, they just learned from the greats of yesterday. We build upon each other through our generation. Doesn't To be great doesn't mean you have to come up with your own thing. All it means is you take what your ancestors learned and you build upon it. That's literally what the greats have done. It's nothing. It's been hyped up. It's been falsified. We somehow got we somehow got into our heads that being great, being a genius means you have to come up with a 100% new foundation of something. No, it means you actually advance and you actually build upon the foundations that already exist and you help advance. If you're doing that, then you're already great. We have to um stop looking at the abilities of other people and being jealous about it. We have those same abilities. We have our own unique abilities. Start looking within yourself. You can have people you admire, but if you admire those people, do make sure you take that inspiration to unlock your own gifts. And you develop your unique gifts and your unique talent. If you can, that's what greatness is. Do not if you judge your success based upon what others think about you, you're going to get little to nowhere in life because we're all greedy in our own special way. You have to unlock your gifts. You have to believe and ultimately know that what you have inside you is what makes you great. It's not going to be easy. It's easier said than done. Actually, it's the struggle and the hardship and the toil that actually helps you unlock the greatest gifts inside you. I found a quote. I forgot who it's quoted by, but you can go and look up this on YouTube. It says sometimes, or not, or Google. It says sometimes you have to get knocked down more than you have ever been to stand up greater than you ever were. Struggle and hardship and falling and getting down and dirty in the mud and muck of life is actually it's a pillar to success. You have to be a master of falling down and standing back up to help someone who has fallen down to stand back up. You know, we have the wrong look and on what struggle is, on what hardships is. You know, it's what builds character. I'm sorry, this is a hurting world. If we want to help hurting people, we must have hurt ourselves and overcome it. How else do we help someone who is spiritually and mentally hurting? How else do you have empathy for someone if you haven't gone through that mess yourself? Empathy is a magnet. Sympathy is, yeah, I feel you, but I ultimately don't know what you're going through. If you have empathy, then you have gone through that. It's a magnet. We all know what it's felt like if, it's like there's no argument. You know, there's like, oh, you gone through that too. Dang, I didn't know that. And all of a sudden you're happy you've gone through that. For once, you never thought you would be happy that you've gone through so much hurt because you met someone who has gone through that hurt. And what you were in the sadness and the hardship you were feeling right then and there is wiped away because hey, you realize you're not alone. That is empathy. Empathy is a magnet. Sympathy is like a magnets that don't they kind of do you can feel them but they don't click. It's there's still a little bit of there's a bitterness and kind of like distance within sympathy. Empathy, you feel the full connection and it's a relief of what you're going to through. Find people who are, and my advice to people is find people who think like you, who are in the same endeavor like of you or similar. Find people who are like minded because then once we do that, then only do we're able it's able to spread. Like when you drop a peroxide in a an infected wound, it starts in one area and spreads out. Here's the thing: to avoid me for being a hypocrite, because of course, even though you guys wouldn't know that, I would know. This is something I'm working on. I still have trouble, and I say it to other people to even help me. I ain't no high and mighty person. I still have my own effed up ways and effed up things that I'm going through that I'm figuring out. I ain't perfect. If we want to call it sinful things, I still have done some things in my life that, not still or anything, nothing serious, but, I have done things that have, that could be considered hypocritical. But I want to let you know that in no shape, way, or form do I intend to defend those things. I speak a lot of peace, love, and whatnot. But at times I'm not peaceful and I'm not loving. You know, we all have that variant of us. We all have our hypocrisies. The question is, can we admit it or not? you know the thing is like don't we defend it just as long as we do our best to not become a hypocrite, then we're okay. you know and yeah, so Chief, go ahead. Sorry, I'm done for now.
Yeah, man. Like I said, man, everybody, well, come on, man. We're gonna go ahead and shut it down, Lewis, man. So, like I said, I wanted you to get what you wanted to say out, man. Shout out to everybody tuned in, man. We definitely appreciate y'all coming through and spending it with my sister-in-law on her birthday. So,
Yeah,
shout
happy
out to
birthday to your sister-in-law, bro.
yeah, man. It's my favorite sister-in-law. So,
It's
peace to
like, yeah,
her.
I tell my friends and people
Okay.
whatnot, you don't get old, you just gold, man.
Yeah, that's right.
You can't have
Cool.
gold without old, you know that.
Yeah. So yeah, man, definitely appreciate everybody coming through tonight. So y'all still going strong. Links in the chat room. Yeah, man. Like I said, man, we're right there. Yeah, Lewis, man, I'm gonna get up out of here, y'all. You guys have a great night. We're gonna get more into. I want to get into the 13th Amendment, um, but it's a lot. It's a lot to it because well, what did it amend, right? What was the before? We only hear the narrated story of the 13th Amendment. We don't really get into these actual amendments or things. We just go with the actual narrated stories that go with it. So we're gonna get into the 13th Amendment tomorrow, y'all. I'm gonna break that shit down. These people, man, they like I said, man, they think they got us fooled, man. But we rising, man. We on the rise, y'all. And like I said, the information is there. Don't take their story for it. Ask for the original documentation. A lot of times it's there, but it's written in cursive and certain things. So a lot of stuff that they said is saying is not saying that. So I wanted to point that out, man. So we're gonna get to it. What did the 13th Amendment amend exactly? So yeah, we're gonna get into that, y'all. So I got a little stuff to dig up and stuff because once again, you always got to get the evidence from them for they for them to be the validated. You know what I'm saying, bro? Which is always interesting to me that I gotta go outside of our community to validate any information. I think it's crazy. Um,
If
but you
they
know,
don't, yeah, if they here's the thing, if they don't bring evidence to they're not a threat. It's like my thing is like I tell my friends, it's like people ask me, do two wrongs make a right? I tell them actually it makes it equal. If you treat others the way you want to be treated. If you want respect, you give respect. It's called equality. Actually, a wrong and a right actually makes it wrong because there's an imbalance. If there's a balance, then it's equal. So equal is right. Then all debts are repaid. If someone
thanks.
insults you, go ahead. If someone insults you and you insult them, that makes it equal. As soon as they insult, but then again, it can keep the cycle going. So that's why when it says the better man comes in, or right, then they break it. It's still unequal. My thing is, it's like when it comes to breaking the cycle, that's what we gotta do. It's like we've been fighting, fighting, and fighting, and we haven't come together and stop the fighting. Once we do that, then the system will start to fall. By white supremacy and a lot of our issues will fade. I mean, the Willie Lynch letter once has designed us to keep fighting. We want to win this war. We actually got to stop killing each other and stop this mess. I know everyone's not going to do it, but the people who take this to heart, the people who really want change, need to come together and need to treat each other like family. Because in the end, that's all we're going to be. We all return to the earth. You know, we're all gonna whether it be sink into the earth, be buried in the earth, or burn up with the earth. At the end of the day, we all become earth. You know, and then what? What are we gonna do when we all get up there and we're all looking the same color? Because our spirit ain't the same as our you know our flesh. Then what? I'm mainly talking to the people who are all about the skin color and whatnot, who make their judgments based upon skin color. Let's just say this: what if you see a so-called pale dude, and then and then you both die, right? And you get up into heaven, all right? And you both look the same. You won't be able to tell each other apart. What happened to your argument? This goes for races, and this goes for people who judge by exterior in general. What you gonna do when you lose your flesh? When your flesh returns to the earth, you can't identify the flesh, and we're all sitting up there looking very similar. But of course, we're not the same. Our actions defines that. What we've done on this earth defines that. Of course, that's what actually separates the goat and the sheep is our actions. But what are we gonna do when we can no longer use that exterior, excuse or exterior modus to say, well, you're supreme or you're not, especially when we lose our flesh. It's going to be an interesting, we have an interesting road ahead of us. It's going to be fun, but yet, of course, challenging and hard. It's all about how you look at it. It's all about where your spiritual eye is, aka your vision. We have a mind within a mind, we have a body within a body. Are we gonna turn off our outer eyes and turn on our inner eyes, and our inner mind is actually a sight. You know, we have there's multiple ways to see. We can see with our logic. We can see with our outside imagery and our inside imagery. When it comes to seeing, there's multiple interpretations of what one sees and what helps one see. It's all about
That's what's
how
up,
well
bro.
connected we are.
Yeah, man, definitely appreciate that, brother. So yeah, man, we're gonna get up out of here, Lewis. We definitely
Yeah.
appreciate you coming through, man, dropping it. You know, you're always welcome, my brother. You come
Thanks,
out and
bro. Hey, I
drop.
wish you and your family the best, and you
You
guys
too,
are
brother.
doing
Thank
time
you.
well spent, man.
I definitely appreciate that, man. And you have a great night, man. Appreciate you. Shout out to Copper Color Soldier in the building. Make sure I ain't missing nobody. Yeah, man, we definitely appreciate everybody that came through tonight, man. And just your energy. Definitely appreciate it. Yeah, so like I said, honors to everybody, man, and once again, man, peace and love to my sister-in-law on her holiday. And so, yeah, you know how we do, man. We celebrate for about a week or two. It just depends. So, shout out to everybody, man. And we will see you guys tomorrow. Like I said, I'm going to get into the 13th Amendment tomorrow. Probably go over some stuff, said, just get at Sister Renee, I'm trying to debunk some of the stuff for the debate. So, yeah, man, shout out to everybody. So we're going to get into the 13th Amendment tomorrow. The 13th Amendment explained the right way. And we'll go from there, y'all. So peace and paradise
Peace,
to
bro.
everybody, man.
Yeah, love your mind, bro. Love all the good minds out there, man.
Definitely, man. Appreciate you, brother.
I look forward to that video. Oh,
All right, catch you guys tomorrow, man.
all right,
Peace and
peace,
love.
bro. Peace, guys. Peace in the chat.